So just at a game before we get started, are we going to basically just not worry about an alibi for the other two right now and just go about our plan as if it was just the three of us?
Yeah, it'll just be the three of you progressing forward. Um, I have thought about stealing a nice little idea, which I think comes down the line from a nice list of DMs, but of basically having a sort of pocket dimensional bartender who kind of opens a door and pulls the players out of the scene that makes it so you don't actually have to write incredible stories to bring people in and out as they can't make it. But again, for what it's worth, this session is more about you guys being creative and the dice not wanting to just fuck you, um, than it is that you can actually affect things. This is very similar to how like the Tomb of Horrors kind of works out, where there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong and a lot of stuff that can go right. It doesn't really matter so much about what your character is, so much as what the dice come up and the choices that you as humans make.
Oh yeah, I like the way you put that.
So, with that in mind, we can jump back into things. You all have last session, you finished up the long night of defending Greenest. You had a battle with Lende Rosa Sayanorath, the half blue dragon. You would have had your first sight of Frula Mondoth, the leader of the raid on Greenest. Did I think a little bit more defense. You had spent the moment arming the ballista as the dragon again was kind of called to attack the keep itself, and with the sharpshooter placed on the ballista, were able to injure the dragon. And what little will it had to be there fighting and listening to the humans of the cult, it quickly flew off with any danger to its own person. And as the sun began to rise, the cult really started to flow out of Greenest itself. A little bit of a rest took place. You all slept for a solid few hours, taking a long rest, and the governor Tarbon Nighthill asked you all if you would be so kind as to uh, follow the cult and see if you could find any information about where they've gone, where their camp is, and essentially track them down to see if they can rescue their people, as well as get any of their possessions that were taken in the raid back. Uh, Guys had a pretty successful time tracking after the actual cult, as you basically followed the path through the grasslands to the southeast. You were able to spot some of the stragglers, watching them. I feel like what? It would have been about midday that you all left. So you probably saw them close to evening as they would have kind of set down a little bit of camp. You were able to spot them and avoid them. And then as the night kind of dragged on a little bit, you were able to follow through the rear guard and kind of notice their ambush that they had set up as you were starting to climb into a little bit more mountainous of a region. And from that point, you were able to spot a little trail that actually led you up into the plateau that overlooked the valley or horseshoe like setting of the camp of the raiding party of the Cult of the Dragon. And we left you all after a little bit of scouting time spent looking over the actual area and gathering a plan to move forward. I believe you all were looking to basically neutralize the camp. Had a eastern watchtower that was set above the actual camp with everything else in the valley. You're looking to neutralize that tower and the guards there, and then you would kind of wheel back around to the southeast and try to free some of the captives who were placed in lower or the southwestern area of the horseshoe, and from there hopefully make your escape. And with that, we will jump back in with you all on like the eastern peak of the horseshoe that makes up the camp itself.
Yes, I do believe we have come up with quite the plan. I do have the ability to potentially make an adversary drop an item. So I think the best thing to do is to try to be as sneaky as we can, take out the gods in the tower. And if one should have the opportunity to blow the horn and alert those below, I will focus my energies on him.
Whatever you say, my friend, whatever you feel is the right course of action, I'm more than willing to follow. Just put my hand on his shoulder and give him guidance.
Will you post that up again? What is it? A D4 to attack and ability checks?
Yeah, any check, basically. Oh, sorry, an ability check.
Okay, sweet. So that'll give us a minute to do this. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can recast it infinitely whenever I want as well, so it's just a cantrip.
That's handy.
Yeah, so I think if we try to basically like sneak up as close as we get to the tower, and then I can either stay at range or just try to use like my ranged weapons. But like my top priority will be to just make sure nobody can get to the horn, like nobody can alert the like rest of the camp, and then you guys just like basically kill everything that you can.
Vicious, how sneaky would you say you were?
Not, but I'm good at killing things.
Well, I think that sending one person in there on their own might be a bad idea, you see. In case there's more than one person, it'd be hard to prevent them all from getting to the horn, but neither you nor I are particularly sneaky, I believe, so that might put a slight spanner in the works.
Well, okay, I'm kind of sneaky.
Well, you are infinitely more so than myself, then.
Right, I
She's
don't
Perhaps
not
flank.
do
she's
you
not
like
at disadvantage, which will be a difference there. But I should throw it out there for you all as well, just because you've lost players essentially walking into this. There is a constant stream of people who are walking into the area. You probably would not have seen this from the side that you were at, but this camp is filling with people pretty regularly. If you were to approach the camp from the traditional way, you have a much better chance to just kind of mull about than if you go at this stealthily. Any failure essentially puts you at odds with the entire camp.
Is there anyone who looks like me? Are these all humans?
While I prefer to have all human worlds, this is not going to be held against you for being a half orc. So it's enough of a situation where if you guys walk in confidently, you have a chance of being taken as cultists.
Is anyone able to disguise themselves at all? It's not something I'm particularly good at.
You
I
need
take
more
pride
mud.
in my appearance and don't wish to change it. How dare you suggest such an awful thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I think if Josh, if you do guidance, and maybe because you have disadvantage, you stay back because the way combat is timed with like 6 second increments, even if there's like an initial combat or whatever, like triggered or when we trigger the initial combat, like you could cover quite a bit of ground in 6 seconds. So like not to take a disadvantage penalty, as long as we can like hold off until you get there so we're not weakened.
Yeah, I could do that if you want.
The other option would be to doff your armor and then go in without armor for just like the initial strike on the tower and then become like fully armored and go in after that.
Yes, but my
Right, but
beautiful
whereas
physique underneath would draw attention. What
Say that
it's
one more
not
time.
like he can carry it without drawing attention, so you might as well wear it.
Well, no,
doesn't give you disadvantage.
I just meant while we go after the tower, you could like basically take off your armor. We could go like take down the tower without your disadvantage, and then you could put it back on before we go fight. I know it's not ideal, but I mean, how many guys are we going to fight in the tower? I would imagine it'd be like 3 to 5 people.
Yeah, I could do that. I don't mind. But it doesn't take an hour to take it off.
I want to say it's like 15 minutes, isn't it?
It's only
I think
chainmail, I guess.
I think heavy armor, yeah, chain. I think that might be a medium armor. And it's like a minute.
Oh, I thought you were wearing plate.
No, I'm wearing chain. It's heavy armor.
Yeah, so heavy I think is 10 minutes.
It's not too bad. I could do that.
I mean,
If you'll notice as well, it doesn't cause chafing. That's very
you'd have
important.
to like leave it in the bush or something so it could potentially get dirty.
I could just carry it. Have you seen bushes? Have you any idea what happens in bushes? Animals shit there, my friend. They shit in bushes.
But if you carry it, it's still making noise and stuff, right?
Yeah, but we're not right next to them yet. We're somewhere nearby, so I'm sure us talking is much louder than it would be for me. Unadorning my clothes, disrobing.
I mean, for what it's worth, you could easily put it inside of like your bedroll or something to have it not clanking around. The point is more that you have a disadvantage because of the actual armor on your body, rather than that the armor itself makes noise.
How much AC would wearing a layer of baby oil give me?
Baby oil is +1 to sunburn.
Oh, well, I don't want that. I don't want to skin damage this skin. Okay, I'll start disrobing.
Yeah, so it'll take him 5 minutes to doff his armor. If you guys want to further plan, otherwise we're basically considering it as if you are kind of right over the damn, I can't think of the name of a compass other than compass. I feel like there's a name for what that is on a map.
Compass rose?
Yeah, I just feel like there's a different word than that.
No, the rose is right. I think that's a good idea. And then if Josh can give all three of us guidance, basically, while we sneak up to give us the extra D4 on ability checks.
Just one.
Yeah, it's concentration, so I'm going to do one person.
Oh, one person. Okay, then I think give it to one of you two. I have luck points that I could potentially spend if need be, and also I have +3 to stealth. So
I'll go to myself because I've only got 12 AC now. So I just start rubbing my nipples and they start glowing.
What?
You heard.
So, do you have any different thoughts on how you want to approach this with 3 people?
Well, I mean, it sounds like sneaking in is probably like actually trying to blend in as cultists and going in would have been better for such a small amount of people because we're not really combat able at the moment. But I don't know. We haven't got anything for it. We haven't got like disguises or any sort of technique for that. So I just don't. I think even though our chances are reduced to being able to take out a watchtower, as you suppose, if we take down the watchtower, we still have to sneak into the camp anyway. What does it benefit us to take out the watchtower?
okay, this is what I was thinking. What if we combine those two ideas? What if we sneak into the watchtower, kill the guys, take their clothes or disguises or whatever as cultists, and then we sneak in as we enter in as cultists using like essentially their equipment or whatever it is, like that would make us appear to be them.
Let me have all of you make a intelligence check.
One day I'm going to make a character who's intelligent.
Well, that's one of the things about the game is people don't necessarily play the mental stats, but the mental stats accomplish a lot of the things that don't involve like the actual combat of the game. They're far more important about how the play goes out.
I got it.
Vicious, you are able to recall that none of these cultists are wearing a uniform. They are all wearing random garb. Otherwise,
Well, we're wearing random clothing, but that means that we can't change into any of their clothing as a disguise.
It's a
Well,
good point, but I
all
think
right,
maybe what we should do is go on.
with the 17, you also know that they don't have a clothing for you to disguise yourselves with because they are not wearing a uniform. It's not,
Right.
this is
I
a
got
positive that people are wearing clothes, not a cult uniform. So everybody walking into the camp looks like somebody walking into the camp.
okay, I get what you're saying, but also remember that the last thing that we did was we had Doc and Arlisle in front of like the whole entire like cult army, and he fought like the leader of the cult. So I 100% need to get some other clothing that is not my clothing to try and make myself look different. Because right now there's at least like I would say 50% of the cultists and kobolds that would directly recognize me 100%.
Could you close one eye and snarl and make yourself look like some kind of cretin?
This camp has about
We're not
100 to
gonna-
200 people walking around in it.
Yeah, so the likelihood that one of the people that we pass is not going to recognize like my exact clothing is probably like, I mean, somebody's going to recognize me for sure. So
Let's
People
put a
don't
bag on your.
notice your clothes. Not like that. It's like they'll notice if you're wearing a uniform or really shiny armor or something, but they don't remember if you're wearing a different brown outfit than the other guy's homespun brown outfit.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine, mate. I think that we'll make a small effort to somewhat disguise your appearance. I mean, I could give you a haircut. You could, adopt a limp or something. Maybe put a bit of mud on your face, that sort of type of thing, and then I think we'll probably be fine. I think we should sneak in. But I think one thing we should do though before we sneak in and pretend to be cultists is spend a little bit of time observing the movement around the tent from here, so we can see if there's any darker or less attended routes or any patrols or anything that would show us that there's like a better route to take towards the tent. where there's less people on the way.
What tent do you have in mind, and where do you want to take this time to watch from?
I think we're somewhere up on this ridge, aren't we? So wherever we can see from up here, and I believe this was a tent you were saying, which looked like it had people, like, which we assumed from the last session was going to be the one that had people in it, I think, was it?
That is like a main area of tents that are clearly more guarded than the rest. But it is not where you've seen prisoners, but it is essentially what you would know from that is that it is a more guarded section. There seem to be a station of 4 human guards and 4 dragon-like creatures that are standing out front of the main tent in that area.
Got it. My mistake then. So where that black ping is there. So can we maybe make our way around the cliff edge in a clockwise manner, and then try and see if we can watch around this area, and then I'm guessing maybe using the rope get down the cliff. So sort of observe from up here on the cliff, and then once we've done like maybe an hour of watching to see if we can see any good way of approaching it, i.e. darker areas, less patrols, less people, or anything we can pick up for good recon, good intel, and then use that as like an advantage into getting the best route possible to the prisoner.
So from there, let me get perceptions from you all.
Okay, and with one of my good stats. Shit, forgot to give you guidance.
Better than 0.
Yeah, I mean, you got a 21, that's really good. You're basically carrying me and Doc there.
Yeah, that's because I'm brilliant and perceptive, or I play somebody who is.
So if you all spend a moment watching from that southern cliff face, you do spot 6 or 10 different people who seem to be bound up against posts as the sun sort of begins to set in this area. Yeah, I think that's about what time it is. Oh wait, I think we've got you all on morning. So the sun's going to be rising soon. So there's like 6 or 10 people who are bound up against posts. They seem to be kind of closer to the actual cliff face than the different area of huts. From this area, you all can spot different levels of traffic. The eastern side of this camp, what's called level 2 in this area, is all like the higher end. It kind of comes up as you progress to the east on this map. And it's like moving uphill basically. The eastern end seems to be actually lit by torches, and there's a semi-steady round of traffic between the tents in the general area. Almost nothing actually progresses towards that larger, well-guarded tent. From what you can see as you all sit back and watch, there's pretty much no traffic in this general area. Everything is pretty well cut off. Most of the traffic is like between tents. It's not actually happening like in other areas. And a lot of what you can tell is that most of the traffic ends up being people who seem to be passing from one area to another, perhaps visiting friends or whatnot. Can't really tell exactly what they're doing, but from what you can tell, there is more room to do stuff around the edges or just simply walking like you belong. Those would be 2 of the best ways to approach it. But perhaps the most dangerous thing would be to actually go towards that tent in the center. That's where pretty consistently you all can see there's not really anything happening.
Okay, I think that we've got a good position up on the cliff. I think that walking through might be a bad idea, because even though we've got the ability to say we can try and blend in, that's good, but I think we should still go down on a rope, find the guy with the call sign that we've got, and then cut him 3 and escape with him. And then once he's up the rope, the last of us that's still down there cuts free the other prisoners, and we leave the rope dangling and just say anybody that wants to escape can as well, but we're just taking this one guy home safe. And then once we're up over the cliff and that, we just get out there and we don't worry about the rest of the prisoners.
I don't know about that. It's daylight, and leaving a rope dangling against the cliff face seems like you're asking for trouble. I mean, somebody's going to notice that.
Yeah, maybe, but then we've got all those all that bait, all the other prisoners that will go for first.
Yeah, I feel like if we take out the watchtower and then put a rope right here and go down and do what Josh said. That's probably our best bet.
All right, the watchtower being the square thing on level 3.
Yeah, because if we take this out, then there's going to be less visibility to us attacking right here. And then if we attack right here, none of like this stuff over here will be able to see like that angle. And then we essentially can like do what Josh said, come in right here, cut the prisoners free, create a diversion, something like that, whatever we need to do around this area. Maybe like light the tents on fire, something like that, and then make our escape, or light the tents on fire as we make our escape as a diversion. Because I think if we're sneaky and then all of a sudden there's chaos, by the time we're like up the rope and escaping with the prisoners, like they won't even be looking for us right away because there'll be like fires and chaos and they won't know what's going on.
Where's the entrance to this camp? Is it that line on the right, or is it the whole upper left area?
The whole upper left area is like the entrance. So if we tried to just sneak in or like casually walk in, we would have to basically progress like either along the edge sneakily through like this whole area, or just try to blend in and kind of like what he said, just stick to like the main routes of traffic, and then maybe like just grab these guys and make our escape. But either way, we're not going to be able to walk back out of there with all those people. I think we would have to have a rope hanging and then try to escape with them. And then that's like the whole time we're trying to like get in there, there's a chance somebody could spot the rope.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's the right way to do it.
Because I don't think we could even potentially get out with one or more people if we try to just like casually play it off. I mean, we could maybe act like we're guards, but as soon as we like cut one person free and go to try to like walk them out, everybody's gonna be wondering like why we have this guy if we play like he's a prisoner and we're transporting him. And if we maybe act like he was a dead body or something, we could potentially like take him out of there, or give him regular clothes and have him act like he was just one of us. But I think the whole time it gives too much time for them to like randomly discover that someone was missing. And at least with Josh's plan, we have a one diversion, all the random prisoners trying to escape behind us, and two, like we have a direct route at least out of there. And then I think we can make better time on foot, like 4 people plus than like a whole army.
Yeah, we just have to circumvent that second patrol that are still coming as well. Remember how we passed people on the way here? So we have to make sure we either take a different route or somewhere that isn't going to be between the town and them, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. We need to do like the button hook pattern.
Yeah, good one.
Or what?
The old button hook.
Like not take a direct route back, basically like go off to the side and then like cut back in towards like the town.
All right, so the current plan is what?
Tower, rope down, prisoner, one prisoner first, then the rest of the prisoners once our prisoners up the rope and escape, and let the rope stay there for other prisoners to run away with whilst we're getting out of there.
All right, so right now we're gonna let a rope down over where there's a large rectangle and hope nobody sees it against the cliff face. And then we're gonna go around to the tower in the upper right.
No, other order. Take out the tower first so they don't see the rope and us climbing up it, and then go back, dangle the rope, descend, free the prisoners, potentially cause like a fire, like diversion, and then escape up the rope with as many prisoners as possible.
Okay. How weak are these prisoners? I mean, if somebody's not gonna be able to climb up?
Potentially, but like honestly, like the number one priority is really just saving that one guy.
Yeah, fuck the other guys. To be honest with you, if they get out, that's great. We'll be heroes for letting them go as well. But the main goal is to get that one guy out.
Okay.
And I mean, I think realistically, if we had to, we could basically like tie the one dude to the rope and then just like pull him up ourselves if we have to, just like hoist one dude up.
Yeah, and they won't be able to follow us up the cliff face either. So worst case scenario ever spotted with Book itself.
Exactly. I mean, it's not ideal if he can't carry himself up the rope, but like I said, we could probably rig up like a little like a harness type situation.
Okay, so the person we're looking for is the person who rescued me, right?
Yeah, we've got the call sign for.
Yeah.
So I can recognize him.
I don't think you've met him.
Yep, you can recognize him, and then we also have like the code to give him so that he knows that we're actual allies.
Those who destroy knowledge of ink, sword, or fire, and he'll say back, are themselves destroyed.
Yeah, her background is, though, that she's met. He saved her at, I want to say the Citadel, but that's the wrong word.
Yeah,
I got it. It was at Home Depot.
You have those?
No, but I've got the internet, so I'm aware. Our version of Home Depot is called B&Q. Little fun fact for you there.
Yeah, I feel like this is a pretty good plan. What could go wrong?
This has the potential to be our best plan yet, although the bar for that has been set extremely low.
It's a good plan.
Do we hear a rustle from the wind in the voice of the DM that gives us an indicator as to whether this is a good plan or not?
If only somebody had some sense of divination.
I mean, my guy's a pious prick. Does that count?
I think you have to roll something.
No, Ben's character is a divination wizard. That's what he's talking about.
Well,
yeah, I
clerics
forgot.
also have their different divination spells as well.
I've got healing word.
The one in particular that I'm thinking about is where you can like ask your god, and you've got like a plan in action that you'll do in the next 30 minutes, and they'll tell you wheel woe or wheel end woe.
Sounds like an ambulance siren. Wheel woe, wheel woe.
Give me a minute.
Life wouldn't be nearly as exciting if you already knew the outcome of your bad decisions before you make them.
Clearly, you've not been invested in business before, like myself, I think.
I've been
Risks.
invested in quite a bit of business, a little bit of the good stuff, a little bit of the bad stuff, broken a law or two.
Well, as long as you've been doing it with as little risk as possible, I suppose that's fine.
Oh, I mean, I'm all about the risk mitigation, but I'm not going to say that I haven't put it on the line before.
I suppose, given the way that you managed to fight before, I'd say that your calculated risks are something which you are good at taking. You've been quite the combatant so far. I'm quite impressed.
Yes, it definitely helps to accept your fate and play the deck or the hand, should I say, that's given to you.
As long as that hand is clean and well pedicured.
Yes, exactly. And worst case scenario, you wear gloves and keep a card up your sleeve.
It's the only reason why I keep this hip flask with me. It's the most pure alcohol I could find. 120 proof, I believe it is. I'll wash my hands with it. My character is now a germaphobe canon.
He's full on germaphobe too. That's awesome. This all went from dirty boots to germaphobe.
Yeah, from being posh to being, fucking Harold Hughes-esque element.
We're living in a time period before germs were a thing and everything's muddy.
Well, apart from midichlorians.
Fucking midichlorian.
I haven't seen the latest episode of The Mandalorian yet, but I believe they are back.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched the second season at all.
Same, I'm waiting for it to all be out and I'm going to binge it in a day.
Yeah, that's kind of how I do TV. I can't handle, like when I was in college, it was definitely weird to be like scheduling my life around what was on TV.
Yeah, I don't even have a TV license, so how little I watch TV.
Well, and God forbid you start watching a show like Lost, where you wait a whole week and then the hour episode goes by and nothing happens.
See, I did watch Lost season 1 and 2 as they were released because it was like I was in high school and that was the done thing. Everyone watched Lost, and yeah, I remember having like the most unsatisfied bitter taste left in my mouth after each time watching it. That just wasn't because I my girlfriend at the time either.
100%, dude. You're like so excited. You're like, yes, it's finally on. Waited all week for this, and then at the end, you're like, what the fuck, man? Nothing happened. I got no resolution. I'm exactly where I was last week, and now I'm stuck waiting again.
Yeah, but it was like the original cliffhanger TV series. That was like the renaissance of TV series sort of type thing before they became really popular. So they sort of pioneered that whole cliffhanger to keep you watching high budget thing, didn't they? But then they just completely lost it. That's what we were talking about last week, weren't we, Jared, as well? Like when a lot of TV shows have like a super strong pilot, which gets them, commissioned for a whole series or whatever, and then they just completely fall apart after one series because they never had any like scope for progression past that.
Yeah, they've hired like all these writers for the pilot, and then after that, they don't have any money left, so they're like, "Oh shit, maybe we should have wrote a first season."
Oh shit, that was it. That writer's strike back in like 2005 or 2007 or some shit. That was what killed Lost, wasn't it?
Yeah, you've got to keep those writer strikes in mind for a lot of things like that, where you look at them in hindsight and you're like, yep, that's where all the talent left because they were on strike.
Yeah,
But I think
forgot
overall
that.
that's the problem with a lot of things. Like we live in the day and age of like companies will only throw money at like established franchises basically. I just watched a movie last night called Underwater, and I think it did absolute shit, but it was a brand new idea. And most companies, it was like, I think they delayed it almost 3 years on releasing it because they didn't want to release it. And then they released it in like January of 2020. And it's like, dude, that's a fucking good movie. It just doesn't have, oh yeah, they're part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's all the companies care about these days is, can we attach it to its Iron Man 17? Is it this and this remake? Is it Cars 75? It's just fucking bullshit. Like, you can't have anything original.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, look what's happening with Cyberpunk 77. Like, The Witcher from CD Projekt Red 1 and 2 was nothing. Witcher 3 comes out, gets given a slightly bigger budget because of the Polish government, and then that becomes a massive landslide success. And then all of a sudden, Cyberpunk 77 gets fucking bankrolled by, what was it, $150 million or something? Just out of thin air.
Is that the new video game one that like keeps getting delayed?
Yeah, so the Cyberpunk 2020 was a D&D spin-off module made by some guy called Mike Smith or something like that. I can't remember what his name is. And he basically created a D&D rule-based world which was set in the like the alternate universe future of 2020, where like America was gone bankrupt, so everything that's left is just corrupt corporations that anyway, all that sort of shit. So they started making back in 2012, I think it was, or 2011. They started making a game which was basically a virtualized version of a D&D weird
Yeah.
module. And so yeah, it's all going to be like based in the city. And it comes out December 10th.
I've followed so much more of Shadowrun, which is part of why I feel like that one never really like attached like to my brain.
Yeah.
Is that to me Shadowrun was already like a perfectly functional world on that aspect.
Yes.
Jumping back in, not getting too distracted. I don't want to like just stop the conversation, but at the same time to continue forward because I think we can always cut it up. Let me get another perception as you all walk back around the horseshoe and start approaching back towards that level 3 area above the watchtower.
I'm in Max's character and it's really showing now.
All right, I tripped over something.
As you progress back around towards the rows, Doc, you notice that there appears to be a single person who is chained up in the central area, closer to that large tent, but very isolated from everything else around them, and is in part in that area where it appears nobody's really approaching.
Shit on it.
Where is that on the map?
It's the 3. It's part
Is
of why I
that-
hate using maps straight out of the book.
Is that my buddy?
Yeah, can I
You guys
describe
you
this,
guys are way too
individual?
far away to make out any sort of good details here. That's why I said like you don't see people in uniform, but you just see people walking around and everybody looks different. But from where you guys are, you're looking easily 300 to 400 feet to 600 feet at times while you're looking across this thing. It's probably almost like a quarter of a mile to look across the canyon.
Can Vicious do some kind of role that's sort of like her awareness of on rails based storylines and the implication of having that number 3 floating on its own in the middle of the camp?
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
If you as players cannot extrapolate what it would mean for a single prisoner to be isolated from the other 8 or 10 prisoners, there's nothing that I can do for you.
So here's a random idea out of nowhere. Can we try and like enter with our rope like where that red line is there? just a random idea.
yes, I do think it's rather suspect having a single individual chained up out there. Perhaps that is our high priority prisoner.
Let
Yes, I
me
think you might
get
be onto
a
something
wisdom
there.
from you, Arla. It's a wisdom check.
Oh shit! I've had minuses on every single roll I've done today. So can I give myself guidance first?
Most certainly.
Yes.
And it's not going to help.
That's hilarious.
I'm back to my Jape level of rolls.
That's a
You
pretty
roll it.
sheer cliff at that location.
Stick to the original plan. And I'm getting cold without my clothes on, so we should probably be quick about this. People will be waking up soon as well.
All right, so we're gonna go around to the tower that's the square in the upper right and kill everybody there.
Yes, I believe so. Might be the right idea to do. Kill the watchtower. Go back to the prisoners down the rope. Call out the call sign if he's there, or if he's stood underneath a giant floating number. Then we'll work out that based on the call sign response. Extract the prisoner that we need first, and then once he's up the rope and safe, we cut free the rest of the prisoners. Are we all in agreement? What about you, Lady Merrill? What about our fat monk with the German accent?
I don't think they're here.
Drinking again.
So if you all are progressing towards the tower, you have at this point the choice of where the land kind of separates above that scree pile of rubble. You can either go to the lower section that would walk up along that top cliff edge, or you can go above the cliff edge where you would be walking almost above the actual tower itself.
I think above. I don't know about you guys, but that seems like the better idea every time.
How um how high up above the tower would we be, and how tall is the tower from the dirt that it's mounted on?
It's pretty clearly even. Let me get a wisdom from you.
So the text annotation says the upper platelet is 30 to 40 feet higher than the platelet that the watchtower's on.
While you're glancing at it, you can tell pretty simply this tower is built for watching into the actual. Oh yeah, you guys are amazing. I was literally asking for just Doc. The other ones were wasted, including that 20.
Yes, I finally got a good roll.
Unless you guys are describing yourself as doing something, or unless I ask for a group check, I am almost always asking the person who is speaking to me.
All right, whilst I'm naked, I'm looking for mold.
Yeah, but you know.
Well, no, my point though, Jamie, is that I want you all to describe to me what you were doing if you want to roll. I feel like you did it last week where somebody was asking me something and you rolled like a 20, and it was just like, that's a great try, but you gotta actually tell me that you want to be doing something, not just joining in with a roll when I ask somebody else. I want to encourage you all to describe what you are doing, because that's how I come up with rolls for you to make checks on.
Okay, but I'm not creative that way, and I can hit the button and roll. So that's what I do.
Well, I just want to encourage you to attempt to be creative. Like, I open my eyes and look towards the cliff. So, Doc, as you're looking this over, the top of the tower is about 35 feet. The cliff seems just a little bit taller than it. You gather pretty quickly this tower is designed for looking into the actual gulch before you. It doesn't really watch behind it. It is very much... I can't draw while I'm pressing shift, but give me 1 second.
I
What's your
guess
drawing?
you don't trust your people.
It's very
Quick
much...
question. Go on, carry on. Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
You can tell it's very much like meant to be directional in that they are looking off into this section opening, and then anything that is kind of like in the grasslands above cannot actually see the presence of any of this, and that's part of why the tower is basically built down into this random bit of cliff face that's lower. You can gather pretty quickly they probably built it there because it doesn't pop up over the landscape. That if you were just like walking in the grasslands, it would just look like more grass in this area.
So what my question would have been is, if we climbed at the back of the tower in the opposite direction from where that sort of line of sight angle is the tower that we'd be approaching from that side open, or is it closed off, or what? Will we be able to access? What I'm thinking is, if we climbed up that side of it and snuck up behind them, would we be able to do that, or would there be something in the way?
You definitely have a solid chance to sneak up from the back. It's not like especially armored on that side. I think I explained it at the very end of the last session that basically these things are rickety towers, almost more like scaffolding than like a defensive position. They're a place to get somebody above with a high angle of view more than like a fort, like a fortification. And then in particular, it overlooks the entire thing. Part of why that one's raised up as well is so it can look down this cliff face. It has a full view of this whole area.
Yep. So let's just rub some like dust on us to try to blend in with this cliffside, sneak right here, and then attack the tower like discreetly, all three of us together at the same time, and we'll stick with the plan. My main priority will be to make sure nobody rings the horn while we just kill everyone.
You might be completely okay with hating your skin and its hydration, but I am not rubbing dust into my pores.
Just put it on your clothes. No need to get it on your skin.
Can you not see that I'm almost naked?
If you want, you can wear my sweaty old extra shirt that I have right here.
Oh, yes. Can you just incinerate them first, and then I'll wear them?
Perhaps you could at least put like two little like lines directly below your eyes, just to kind of blend in your face.
I'm not averse to that. I look awfully good with makeup on.
I had a feeling that you were wearing makeup. I didn't want to presume.
My character's a crossdresser cannon.
Vicious, you sort of already have a grayish flesh, so you should blend right in.
That's me. I can be camouflaged and blend into anything.
So I will take off my red cloak and put it into my bedroll, and then I should be like just full on earthy toned. And then I'll just take like some rock dust and dirt and stuff like that, and just kind of like pat it into my clothing so that I will better be disguised in the rock face.
I also have the ability to make sounds and things happen slightly out of our range. Could that potentially help as a distraction?
I think we should save that as sort of a precautionary measure. If we should happen to alert them, perhaps we can make a sound to distract them or an image or something like that. But I think ideally, to be discreet is the best.
I've also just noticed as well, sorry, that I've got vestments. I'm assuming that means it's like, basic clothing. I stick that on.
Vestments, I believe, would be like your holy clothing. It would be more like sacred or actual like rituals. Those would be
Yeah.
like your most precious clothing.
Yeah, fuck that then. Naked it is. You can all have a look at my almost chiseled abs.
You've got your common clothes.
Yeah, but they're common. Gives everyone a chance to see how good looking I am, I suppose. Right, let's do this.
So yeah, I guess Josh, bless yourself or whatever, and then we'll get sneaky with it.
Na 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 na. Alright, I give myself guidance then.
So while you all are going about your last few moments of preparation, where are you at?
Oh, I don't think we want to go down the cliff, right? So I think we want to approach from this way, so
Okay.
we don't have to go over the edge. I do want to just make a note though, Vicious. I know sometimes in battle you can get a little excited, enter a rage. Just make sure that if you get angry, you're quiet angry.
Quiet angry.
Yeah, I don't want you screaming, any berserk bloodlust or anything as we go into battle. That's all. If you should decide to enter your rage, can you keep it like an internal rage?
Yes, imagine that you're doing a difficult crossword puzzle in a library.
Oh, okay.
So just don't yell out like vengeance or for the blood of my enemies or die human. Try not to let out any like roars as you tear the adversary's limb from limb.
Yeah, like
No roaring.
yeah, nothing skin based. Like I'm not going to wear your skin, or I'm going to cut your face off, or none of that.
You can do those things, but just don't say it out loud. That's all. And
I'm
again,
sure. I'm sure tearing somebody's face off would be extremely quiet.
no, just do it discreetly. Cut their throat first and take out their vocal cords, and then you can flay them if you choose to.
No grunting when you swing your weapon, that sort of thing. Yeah, we're going for clean, quick kills. No disembowelment or any of that.
Yeah, try to like cleave heads and stuff like that, but do it in a relaxed manner.
Have you ever seen the ballet before?
No.
Oh, well then forget I spoke.
While you all are going over your final preparations of how not to rage to the orc, you see as 3 people are climbing up the large cliff face from the tents to the west, and they are making their way to the tower.
Oh,
Wait,
like
what?
directly where we're about to be going?
Yeah, they're basically... Damn it, did I just move the whole thing? Shift fucking... I hate
Hello.
shift as a push to talk.
I use the F10 key.
Yeah, that's way too far away.
I use
You
them.
basically... As you sit in this area, you're basically watching as a group starts to make their way up the cliff face and eventually walk into the guard tower.
Guys, it's the changing of the guard.
Yes, that's perfect. This could not have worked out better timing. If we strike once they've changed out the new guards, that will buy us quite a bit of time before anyone notices that they've been killed.
Wait a minute. These people were climbing directly up the cliff face?
That is correct.
It's not a normal changing of the guard.
Do we notice, do they have a rope? Are they humans or somebody more apt to climb like a cliff face? Or is that just an easy place to climb up?
Let me get perceptions from all of you.
I mean, it looks like there's a gradual slope up to where the guard tower is, so a normal person would walk on the ground up the gradual slope, unless I don't understand.
No, that's a cliff face on that edge. The northern edge is a cliff face.
Oh, okay. So is this the only way up to the tower?
From what you all can see, there is a ledge on that northern side of this little peninsula that like peeks into this gulch. So, from what you can gather, you've not investigated in that area, but you can assume that that is a cliff face. Where you all are, where they are walking up, is a steep but not nearly like sheer cliff. It does have, it's probably say something like a 75 or 80 degree angle. It is very sheer, but they seem to climb up with next to no trouble. And I think that's what you kind of gather as they appear to be changing the guards.
Okay,
So
so
this is
then
regular.
when we go to sneak back down, then can we sort of use this area as a less adverse area to climb up, in case like our little monk friend, if that's hopefully him right here, is not in the best shape, he would have a better chance climbing up an area like this than just straight up on a rope like that. Like this would be sort of a combination of a rope and a climb.
Um, I think there is the possibility that there are less and more sheer areas of these cliff faces. I think it is more likely that you all would gather that perhaps they have areas where it is set up for them to climb up and down the cliff face as if handholds and footholds are carved into the wall itself.
Ah, okay, okay.
But there's different points where, yes, the actual cliff is not as sheer in all of the areas as it is in others. And that's one of the things that you can surely find a more ideal and less ideal locations to do your climbing. That's part of why I use the word sheer when Josh drew that one. But for instance, like this area is not as sheer. That is far more of a incline. It'd still be the type of thing where it's 75 or 80 degrees, but you're at least not looking at just a straight sheer drop. And then like location like that, yes, it is more of an incline, less of a sheer cliff, with the scree below it. This one necessarily isn't all that different. It would give you a little bit more of an incline, but it's not necessarily as ideal as the others. But from what you guys would have seen there, you would be able to understand that they have at least this location by that watchtower designed for climbing.
Yeah, so like it's not a badly drawn map. I figured it out. It's like a bird's eye view. So the more white cliff you see, it's not isometric. That's like an incline. So the more white you see, the less steep it is in that area, I think.
Yeah, pretty close to that. It's pretty much designed to actually show that the more of the cliff that you're seeing, the more it's actually a incline rather than a sheer drop. But I also think it is essentially the viewpoint of this map is definitely focused in this area. So the further you get away from that, the less that actually counts because it is skewed in these areas. But I think it still matters like on that level.
All right, got it. So I think the plan sticks. Let's let the change in the guard happen, and once they're in there, we go for them, and then we just go back up the way we came, around the outside. I still think we approach from these prisoners here, check them, and then move to number 3. I still think that our best rope point or repel point is here,
Is where?
just to the left of the prisoners on that cliff face, because we don't, if as long as we don't cut any of them free, we do the call sign, check that none of them are our prisoner that we're after. So we rappel down here, call sign here-ish, and then once we've confirmed that none of those are the prisoner, we go around this way, around the out, like sticking to the cliff face, slightly less populated routes, and then come this way, staying as far away from tent 2 as possible, provided that the prisoner wasn't here. We then do the call sign on this guy, confirm it's him, back the way we came to the rappel point, and then once he's up the rope and safe, I don't mind if it's me, I'll stay behind, and then I'll cut free the rest of the prisoners, and then go up the rope and join you at the top, and then book it.
Okay, at some point, there's going to be an outcry
Why would there be?
because that's what people do. Like we go down, we say hi to the prisoners. They're probably not all going to stay really quiet, and then somebody else notices that we're there as well. What's our plan then?
Well, I'm assuming they're all hurt, so they're not going to be too lively. I'm also going to secondly assume they'll be gagged, and if not, we're approaching from behind anyway, so we just walk up towards them, and just being like acting like we're guards maybe or something, being we'll spit and we'll be like, you go, you fucking filthy maggot, that sort of shit. That was a good accent. Don't tell me otherwise. and we'll do that, and then we'll get close, and then we'll do the call sign, and then we'll carry on. So we'll make it clear.
Right.
So we good? I
I
think we're
think
good.
it's an excellent plan. Ideally, we could at least get the main prisoner free, and then perhaps some sort of diversion. But I think the best thing to do is try to keep it discreet as long as possible.
Completely agree. I'm willing to let the other prisoners not quite make it. I can't think of a better phrase than that. As long as it means that we stay as silent as possible and get the VIP out of here.
So no yelling blood and thunder, death to everyone.
Yeah, if you could avoid that, then that would be, really beneficial.
I wonder if possible diversion after we take out the tower, if we started, say, like a very small fire, and then that would draw the attention of everyone, if that could be useful.
I thought that, but I thought the blending in would be better because as soon as they see a fire or something like that, they'd assume that something was wrong, and that might heighten the alertness of the entire camp.
Agreed.
Plus, these people worship a dragon. If they see a fire, they might think it's some kind of blessed sign and start being raucous or something awful.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go.
So if you are all set, as you all are watching the changing of the guard, you see as 3 more seem to come out of the guard tower and start to climb down the cliff in that same spot. And let me know how you want to progress forward as you move along that middle cliff edge.
Yeah, I think stay as close to the cliff wall as possible and go as sneaky but slow as possible.
Alrighty.
So, assuming Arlisle blesses someone, let me get a stealth from everyone, and then whoever you would like to bless, they can add that d4.
I shall bless myself. I'll say that ahead of the roll.
I am incredibly proud of myself for being very quiet.
So a 19 for me overall.
Is this like a group stealth check, or should I use a whatchamacallit on that?
That is the type of thing that it is up to you.
This group averages out like 13.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather save it. I don't want to use it on the very first check if possible.
So as you all progress forward, you kind of sneak up along the wall. You feel pretty stealthy overall, but you definitely all would notice as Doc seems to knock some stones out of the cliff face to your north. And you all are able to progress roughly up to the base of the tower. Probably about 20-30 feet from the base of it at that point. You are able to spot signs of the 3 who seem to be taking guard.
All right. So back when Doc trips or whatever, I'm gonna hold my finger to my lips and go shh.
Doc will make like that face, like oops face. All right, so yeah, I think we're gonna just progress one more time to the bottom of the tower and try to stealthily enter it.
Yeah, there's rough built lattices across it that essentially make a ladder up the back of the tower. So if you move up to the base of it, that will be the next check here as you all take your time to move into position to climb the tower.
Okay, and then as an observation, Doc would have said also that there was 3 guards that just left and 3 guards that just approached, and there's 3 of us. So if we should get up to the tower and like sort of alert them or whatever, then we should pretend that they just double scheduled like the shift for this like guard rotation, and that we're like the new guards to get there and then like surprise attack them.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, boy. I mean, that sounds absolutely complicit.
So would you say, do you want one more stealth roll
Yep,
from us?
roll another stealth check for me.
Guidance on myself first.
I trip over something.
Double natural 20.
Nice rolls.
And the guidance?
Yeah, well, it doesn't. Yeah, we've got a double natural and a fucking 4 out of
Talk
4 as well.
about crush it. That's literally the perfect roll.
We just teleport suddenly up there and take the form of smoke and choke them all to death.
Yeah, you're barely even a shadow.
So you are able to progress forward as you all start to take your positions at the base of the tower. It's built up in a way that as 3 essentially normal medium humanoid adults, you are able to sort of spot different paths that you could climb up pretty much in unison. As you all kind of take to the base of it, you hear a little bit of a commotion above. Let me have an intelligence check from everyone. You all are very concerned with being stealthy.
Okay, that's a nice way of putting it.
So you guys can approach the climb to the top as another stealth check here.
One question: did we see how the other three guards climbed up?
Yeah, there's like a specific area where there's like more latticing to create like a more traditional looking ladder. But what I was saying is that essentially like three humans, three humanoids can climb up pretty much anywhere around how this is built because again, it's built up very much like scaffolding rather than like four posts that hold up a floor. It's very much like an array of wooden sticks and pikes. Like if it were like built out of bamboo, it's very much like built up out of like an amalgamation of wood rather than like as a purpose built like watchtower.
Got it. And plus, we want to come up the back anyway, don't we? So it doesn't really matter.
So like if you all wanted to, you could go up one at a time across the normal ladder, but you can as well climb up essentially along the entire like thing. It's all climbable.
Got it. I think the three of us want to go at the same time, don't we?
Yeah, I think that's best for like the stealthy surprise route. Instead of playing it stupid like we're the guards and we got double scheduled, we're just gonna stick with the we're all climbing up and keeping it stealthy, right?
Yeah. We'll use the changing of the guards excuses we get caught as we climb up.
Perfect. That's our backup plan.
Guidance on me.
So as you all make your way climbing up, my bad, I should have asked for this as well, but let me get a strength check from you all as well.
Guessing I can't guidance that since I guidance and strength for the same thing.
Yeah, you're not casting another guidance while you're this close and trying to be stealthy.
I'd like to keep mine a little bit on the sly side rather than just muscling my way up. I'll be using a little bit of my finesse if I could.
And you do.
Let's pretend that that was still a strength check because again, this is just like you guys able to lift your body. It's not necessarily being dexterous.
But it would
But-
look
Oh, my bad. Acrobatics was strength. I guess athletics would have been +2, so it would be -1 from that.
Yeah, it was essentially just a pass fail though. It wasn't meant to be a hard check. It was can you actually lift your body weight?
I got you. I was just trying to be in character because Doc's not really like a just muscle through stuff type guy. He's more of like a be like sly in the way I do everything.
Nope, just climbing up a ladder. Pretty much it was don't roll a 1 on this check. So you all are able to walk or climb yourselves up to the edge. As you all start to approach where you have a sight on these three people, it appears that these three humans on guard are pouring libations, toasting each other, enjoying the spoils of a well-deserved rest and victory. And while they appear to be keeping a watch, they are very much distracted by the victory at hand and the wonderful sacking of the city of Greenest. What would you all like to do?
All right, so sticking with our plan, my first priority will be to locate what I would assume would be like a large horn or like a gong or something like that. That would be like the big alert for if they were like trying to let everybody know there was something going on.
Roll a investigation. What's everyone else doing with their first view as you approach the top here?
Are they all facing away?
Yeah, pretty much. You guys have taken essentially the back of the tower, and their attention is, it's almost as if they are like sitting out on a like veranda overlooking like a field in front of them. They're pretty much sitting in a way. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. They're pretty much sitting in a way that their view is presented out over this entire area. It should actually be kind of like this. So they're like watching like that. And you all are essentially climbing up like those three positions.
I make a throat slit gesture to the other two then, and then point to them.
So Doc, you would pretty quickly notice that it would appear part of what the guards keep on their person is they each have their own horn. There's no particular like gong or notification, so much as the guards all have access to a smaller horn, like an ox horn, like a handheld horn.
Okay, perfect. Then I would like to throw up like a 1, 2, 3 with my hand signals to the other two. And on 3, I would like my action to take out anybody that goes for their horn will be who I go for, if that makes sense. So like if one of them basically like hits somebody and doesn't take them out or whatever, I go for like the finishing blow on that person, or like whoever tries to grab their horn if one of them doesn't get like immediately knocked down.
All right, how far away are they from us?
About like 5 or 8 feet from the edge of the tower.
Oh, they're like real close. Okay, because I was gonna throw a javelin, but they're
No, we want to do
next.
hand over the mouth from behind and throat slit.
Yeah, exactly. We're going for like the Navy SEALs, like full on assassination style.
So I'm going to assume that at this point you all are ready, and it is presented in the fashion that I assume Arlyle and Vicious are going to be moving forward, and Doc is essentially holding his action for anybody who appears to be preparing to sound the alarm. And with that, let me have everybody roll initiative. Actually, I think I have to drop your tokens for you to even add it. Fuck it, I'll just write it down on a piece of paper.
Yeah, I forgot anyway.
So when you said roll, I was just hot off the trot.
No, you're good. There's no tokens to be had at this point.
Good roll, mate. I drained the entire world economy of 20s after hitting that double 20, and then you hit 20 straight after.
No, that was my investigation. I'm sticking to the plan. I got the 4.
Alrighty. Vicious, what would you like to do?
All right, I'm gonna enter a rage. I kind of didn't want to, but because I think this will be easy, but I have 3 of them. All right, so enter a rage, go reckless, and on the whoever's closest to me with a maul, and also I've got that storm aura. When activated, one creature of your choice in your area takes lightning damage, half damage on success. So 1d6 when I start my rage, and as a bonus action on each of my turns. Does that mean my first turn it happens twice?
Well, your bonus action on this turn will be to enter a rage. So that will
Okay.
be the bonus this turn. But I'm pretty sure it happens when you cast it, and then in subsequent turns you use the bonus to proc it to make it happen.
Yeah, like spiritual weapon. The first turn when you proc it, it gets to action, and then every turn after your bonus action is what attacks with it.
Yeah. It's when you activate your rage, when you start your rage, and then as a bonus action on each of your turns afterward. So with advantage, a 9 will miss.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Dex 13 meets beats, so he will take half. Will you draw the damage for your Storm Aura?
Not a great start, but it'll get better. So it gets 1 point, or
Yep, 1 point. So again, this is all pretty much happening at the same time, but as you all make that top part of the fucking words tower, you see as Vicious climbs over the edge, entering into her rage. She drops her maul into the center of the table where they're seated, just barely kind of missing the head of the central guard. And you see as, and what is it? It's a storm. So going for Doc has like acidic drool. A little bit of damage is dealt to the central guard of the 3. But essentially she attacked towards the one who is in the middle, and the 3 of them are all kind of sitting behind the small table that overlooks this cliff face. So Arlyle, what would you like to do as you see Vicious move over the edge and begin to attack?
I'm going to try and put behind the whatever guy it is that she didn't attack, and do the whole hand clap over the mouth and throat slit. So do I roll for a sword attack?
Yeah, that's fine. Go for a normal attack there.
It's going really well.
Yeah, as Arlyle approaches over the edge, moving forward to the guard who is on the 1 second.
Mississippi.
So moving forward to the guard who's on the south side, Arlyle goes to slit his throat, apparently getting his sword just slightly hooked over one of the like rings of the armor, like for belting the chest plate onto the figure. It's just enough that he essentially, the sword is kind of looped over and misses the mark. And it will go to one of the guards will begin to kind of notice what's happening. You see as he kind of like looks up. Doc, what would you like to do? The guard who is closest to you on the north side of the room seems to be the only one who is reacting at this point.
Doc will say absolutely nothing, and a little smile comes over his face, and he just kind of winks at the one guard. And then I
I mean,
will
you guys are
go.
behind them. They're not actually like looking at you.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, if he didn't notice, then I won't wink at him. I will just.
Yeah, it's more that he's starting to like look towards like Arlyle and Vicious, probably more Vicious than anything, as she just like slammed her maul down into the table that they were sitting behind.
All right. Well, as he looks over, I'll look for that sweet spot, right where like his spine is like kind of exposed on his neck, and I will take one of my daggers and I will chuck it right at the good. And I'm going to go ahead and use a whatchamacallit point. Superiority die. Damn, 11.
An 11 is going to miss as well, as the knife just kind of plinks off of his shirt, his chain shirt, and the dagger like kind of flies to the side.
All right, and I will do one more. Crit crat.
And roll the
Doc's
damage.
back.
At least one of us got a hit in.
Oh,
Okay,
you took off the
so-
sharpshooter? Got scared?
Oh, motherfucker! I clicked on the wrong one. I have it set up on 2 different ones, but that's okay.
That's brilliant.
Is it working?
Did
I
you
don't know why
not
it's not
mean
working.
to roll without sharpshooter though? That wasn't like a lack of confidence.
Oh, there it goes. I think it just rolled it all over again.
Roll another d4.
Since I rolled it the wrong way, I'll do it the other way, where I add on the tech. Yeah, I definitely did not mean to roll it without sharpshooter.
Well, assuming that you roll it with sharpshooter, that guy would die.
Okay, if you'll give me the sharpshooter, then I'm not going to add on to it. But
I
if
feel like
not, I
that's
will.
the first time I've ever seen you roll that didn't use a sharpshooter. So that's part of why I asked like that before you roll damage.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I feel like they changed something. I don't know what it is, but it's the same as when it rolled the first time. I've never had it roll where it didn't roll the damage right afterwards. So I don't know if I just clicked in the wrong spot or what. But I am trying to do other stuff while I'm doing it, so it's probably just my fault.
Alright, so again, assuming that you rolled sharpshooter, because I'm pretty sure you've never actually rolled without using sharpshooter so far this campaign, you would be able to successfully kill him there.
Okay, and do I feel like that alerted the other guards when I did that or no?
Oh, I mean, these guards are well alerted.
Yeah, I don't think after Vicious goes in there that they don't realize something's happening.
Yeah, you guys
Okay.
had surprised. You had surprised them, and the fact of the matter is they're not surprised anymore. A hammer missing and a sword across his throat are pretty blatant reminders.
Okay, so here's my question. If I use action surge right now and then hold my action for if one of the guards goes to alert the camp or whatever, like goes for his horn, or just like whatever, is that functional or should I just be done with my turn? Does that make sense?
I don't believe you can use action surge to hold an action. So I would say you have a pretty good sense that it would be a good idea to action surge and try to kill another one. But it would be the type of thing that you are trying to guess who might go before your group.
Okay, I got you. Well then I will
But
do
specifically with action surge, it says you can take one additional action on your turn, and that's part of why I would say normally you would take your action to hold an action to use as your reaction, and that specifically because it says on your turn is not capable of being held like that.
That makes sense. Okay, so then I will go ahead and action surge.
So there is still remaining. You've killed the guard who was on the north side of the table. Vicious attacked the guard who is on the east side, and Arlyle is attacking the guard who is on the south side. Who would you like to attack?
I will assume that Vicious was more alarming. So I'll go for the one that seems like most responsive. Okay, and let me just make sure I get the right one. There we go. It might be where I clicked on.
18 will hit, and 17 will kill. So the northern and the eastern guards are dead. The one who is currently still alive is the one in front of Arlyle.
So what are we supposed to be doing now?
I am trying to figure out how to actually play this mechanic
Okay.
and see what will happen here.
I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be doing something.
No, I'm not a big fan of like pass fail as far as tests go, but this feels very much like a pass fail test.
Right now, you're praying that he goes for his sword and not for his horn.
Yeah, but I rolled really high for the check that he's doing. So, give me a moment. Let me make some coffee while I kind of think about this to see what sort of creative ways there would be to kind of apply this that are not a guarantee that you guys put the entire camp on notice. Um, but I feel like we are essentially at the point where the entire camp is about to be on notice. So give me a moment to try to do some creative thinking. As you guys step up, the two initial attacks go awry, and Doc flinging 3 quick blades. This guard will react by standing up, throwing his arms to the air, and he will quickly say, "Please don't hurt me. I'm not one of them. I'm from Erebor. Please." And it will go to Vicious. What would you like to do?
I'm just gonna look confused and hold my action. And do you
What
want
are
me
you
to kill
holding?
him? I don't know. Doc.
What are you holding?
I will wait till Doc tells me whether I should kill this person or not.
So just an attack. If Doc says to attack him, you will attack.
Yep.
Yeah. Because specifically, holding an action is you are holding a specific thing to do for a specific cause that will have you do it. So at this point, Doc will tell you something, and that will tell you whether you will take a single attack. And it will go to Arlyle. What would you like to do? This is the guard who was essentially in front of you.
And try and stab him again.
Make your attack. A 12 will miss.
Wrong place at the wrong time.
And to Doc,
Doc will say, "I believe you, but we can't take any chances." And I will attempt to knock this person unconscious. But we'll just do it as a regular attack, but non-lethal blow is all I was distinguishing. I'm going to. Oh shit! I shouldn't have done it like that. Well, yeah. Okay, that's fine. I will use. Yeah, I should have done my dagger. I don't know why I did my crossbow. But that's fine. I'll assume that Vicious heard me and does the same thing, I guess. Actually, you know what? I gotta not take any chances. I'm gonna try to do a D8 to hit. So what? The max I could get would be a 15. Did I see what kind of armor or whatever this person is wearing? Do I have any idea?
roll.
Oh, you know what? Oh, go ahead.
Nope. Tell me what you're doing.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna take a chance. I'm gonna use a luck to re-roll that. All
I
right,
have to
so
throw it out
switch
there.
it from a 9.
I'm not sure how you can non-lethally shoot somebody with a crossbow. Non-lethally throwing a dagger makes so much more sense because I could imagine you know how to hit them with the blunt end, but non-lethal crossbow shot is an incredibly hilarious thing to imagine.
Puts
Oh,
the
I don't
bolt in
know.
backwards.
I could flavor it however I want, where I like aim the crossbow up at him and then spin it around and hit him with the blunt end, like right in the face or something. I don't know how you want to do it, but
Yeah,
Well,
you're not
that would
shooting
be
them.
like an improvised weapon, though, is the difference. That's why I say it like this. When you roll your crossbow
well,
as the hand,
you could flavor it that I shoot him in the thigh, and then when he looks down to his thigh after taking the massive amount of damage, I strike him unconscious with the blunt end of the crossbow and then bandage him up. But the idea is this: just that we can't take a chance.
like I said, it would have made so much more sense if you still stuck with the dagger rather than the crossbow. It is a hilarious twist that you non-lethally shot somebody with a crossbow.
Oh,
Just
I don't
saying.
know. How would you do it differently with a dagger that would be non-lethal?
Well, anybody who's like good at throwing knives knows how to throw like the slight difference that they hit with the blunt end of the knife, and knocking someone out with a blunt tool is brain damage. It's not dead. But that's why I say there's little twists of it that I think is hilarious about that thought. But you are successfully able to hit him, and you are successfully able to knock him unconscious.
Yeah, I mean, I really just like didn't even think through the crossbow, to be honest. It just like thematically made sense that I like threw my knives and then grabbed my crossbow, and like since it's kind of like Doc Holliday, he's like the quick draw McGraw, so it like seemed thematic to me to shoot my crossbow. But in retrospect, it would have made more sense to take the 2 attacks with the knives. But I honestly didn't even think about the blunt end of the knife. I was more thinking back to the moment where I asked for crossbow bolts from the king, and he was like, "Why do you want my bolts?" And I was like, "Because they're not a shop." But I mean, regardless, that my point is that I just didn't want to kill him because I do actually believe him.
That's pretty funny actually. You're hitting somebody with dull bolts. like bean bags or something, like a cop.
Yeah, something, whatever. I mean, there's tons of ways we could flavor it to be funny.
Well, it's like a cop, then it depends on it, whether or not this guy's black, I suppose. Because that would massively alter how much force he uses.
He is black, so apparently you guys have shot him 99 times. And you feared for your
I'm sure.
lives.
All right, so is this guard unconscious, or do I have to like try and tap him lightly?
At present, I would say Doc didn't really give you a attack order.
All right, so I'm gonna look at Doc and say, do you want me to hurt him or not?
No, I believe we've dispatched him for now. We can give him the benefit of the doubt, and if we have an opportunity, take him with us when we come back with the prisoners.
Or we could just tie him up and gag him.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Leave him behind, but secured.
What would you all like to do?
Let's just proceed with the plan, I suppose. We've done what we needed to do here. Maybe we should tie up that guy or what, I'm not quite sure. I'm assuming he'll be out for a while. So let's go and do what we were going to do and get down there and see if our man is amongst those prisoners.
Yeah, so I
All
mean,
right.
I assume if anybody makes it up to the guard tower and finds the dead bodies or there's nobody up here, they'll know something's awry. So I think the best case scenario is to go ahead and gag and tie up this prisoner. So I'll like rip off a piece of my like clothing, put it inside of the prisoner's mouth, and then wrap another one like around his head so that it's held in, and then tie his arms behind his back and make sure that he is disarmed and tied to like the like post of the tower, so there's no way that he could get free anyway. But I'm judging by the damage. I think he's probably going to be out for a while.
So did they have like whistles or horns or what?
They had horns.
Should we each take one?
Yeah, we could
God.
take their horns and their weapons and rummage through the bodies as well. Make sure that there's like nothing else that would be used to alert them. But I'm assuming at this point in time that when and if he wakes up before we get back, he will understand that there's a reason we didn't kill him.
Let me have 3 investigations from you all, or rather an investigation from you all.
Guidance.
I'm not interested in looking.
You are each able to find and grab a horn and a spear.
Let's just throw the spears away unless anyone wants to keep hold of one, and definitely take the horns with us.
Yeah, I wonder will it look suspect if we're walking around down there with the horns, or if will make us look like we are guards. So it's probably not a bad idea to keep them on us.
Yeah, actually, maybe we should walk with the spears as well. Maybe we'll look more like guards that way. We can always give a spear to our prisoner as well, in case.
We didn't see any kind of like, I know you said they don't wear uniforms or anything, but we didn't find any like cultist symbols or like strange headgear or anything that would make us blend in anymore.
Let me have a wisdom from you.
Just him or all of us?
Just from Doc. They seem to all be erratically dressed. There doesn't seem to be any sort of insignia or anything about them at this point.
All right, I will grab some of like the non-bloodied clothing if one of them has like a cloak or a shirt or something that would make me look different. But I'm assuming without my like red cloak that I'll be much less recognizable.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab a drink. Give me like 60 seconds.
You're able to grab a sufficiently not bloodied cloak from the one that you pierce through the back of the spine, where the actual hood itself kind of covers up the blood that has seeped into it.
Perfect.
But that's definitely the type of thing to let me know before you do an investigation check.
I'm back.
Affirmative. Yeah, again, I think like taking off my red cape hopefully will be enough. Maybe I'll rip off a little piece of cloth and put my hair in like a man bun too, so I don't look as conspicuous.
I'm kind of picturing the reverse of Superman. You know, where he like rips open his whatever so that you see the big S, the iconic thing.
Right, and say he's like covering it up.
Yeah, like, oh, don't notice me. I'm not here.
How would you like to progress forward?
All right, so the real question is, should we now proceed down the way that the gods came up, or should we make our way around and approach Nia, the initial objective?
We had a
It's hard
plan.
to-
Let's stick to the plan.
I agree. It's hard to get a rope up a cliff. It's easy to pin one down and abseil down it. Unless you want to go down the way the guards came and then just walk out of here along the cliff edge. We have to go past that highly guarded tent.
Yes, I much prefer the escape route already being in place. Um, but the alternative is that if we go down the other way like we planned, lay the rope and get to the adversary, we then have a potential escape route from either back up to the tower, the rope that we have dangled, or the initial plan by the second group of prisoners. It's always nice to have a couple options in case we don't draw the ideal hand, so to speak. So yeah, I think that's the way to go then. We'll creep back around and try to dangle our rope over in this area, so that we still gain a little bit of the advantage from the not like full on sheer cliff face right here, but also that the rope is potentially hidden from like, this kind of angle over here. If that makes sense.
Perfectly. Should make our way around.
I mean, for what it's worth, if you are trying to climb down in that central position, you guys would know pretty well that that is exposed nearly regardless of what you plan to do.
All right.
That's like the most exposed position of it all.
Yeah, let's go in behind the prisoners like the original plan.
Okay, so stick to where the rectangle is and then walk over to the guy who's like pinned up over there, like the three.
Yeah, I think so. And let's try and stick to the cliff edge as we walk around that way, I think.
Yeah, from what
Okay,
you
that
all
sounds good.
gather, about the only way to approach that person that isn't clearly obvious as something's afoot is to go from the actual camp. Being on that cliff face in that area of that number 2 tent is just all around dangerous. There's essentially that watchtower point and then everything else. It just doesn't seem like there's much traffic in that area.
No, that makes sense. I like the idea that if we go around to where the rectangle's at too, we bypass the prisoners and everything, and then go over, free the solo prisoner at 3, and then make our way back to the other prisoners. But if something goes afoot, we could potentially make it back up to the tower. So we kind of have like 2 exit routes.
I think what's important to remember as well, it's more than 50-foot drop, so we need to use 2 ropes. And there's only 3 of us, so we probably only got one area we can make a rope long enough.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that idea.
So if you all progress back around the horseshoe, you can make your way back towards the area where the prisoners were being held in that southwestern point, and prepare your little setup, tying a couple of ropes together, mounting them along the grassland area here, and plan your way down into gully.
All right, so before we walk around there, should we take our prisoner that we have right now with us and then leave him at the top where we leave the rope, so we don't have to make our way back to the tower to potentially free him?
I only 5% trust a man fearing for his life will say anything.
Then we'll leave him behind, and if it's convenient, we'll come save him.
All right, let's proceed.
Yes, if there's one thing that I've learned in life, it's that the life of one man is not always equal to another. We have our priorities.
So you can set up your climb down, and if everyone will make strength checks for me, into climb down the cliff.
So when you say strength checks, do you mean just athletics or straight up strength, or like
Yeah, athletics work.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. It can definitely be athletics if you have proficiency in athletics.
Look at all 3 of our rolls.
So
Well,
I got
so
a 1 and a 20.
You get advantage
Yeah,
on them.
that's
Strength save. Hang on, that's a strength
Matters.
save, not a strength roll. You need to click your strength stat at the top, not strength save at the top left.
that's just funny. We all rolled whatever plus a 20 as our second stat.
I know what the chances of that.
Well, it's a failure either way. I mean,
Well, going down rope's easy. It's going back up it is hard.
gravity just hurts more. 3 beautiful 20s that don't matter.
I know, so hard.
I mean,
Although
if
from
it
that
did-
roll, I was gonna say it looks like you get advantage on strength saves though for some reason. But yeah, obviously it's not a strength save though; it's a strength check. But even still,
it doesn't matter. It was a
No,
low
you
roll.
get advantage on strength while you're raging from being a barbarian.
Yeah, it was a total waste of a rage.
It was indeed.
we did tell you not to rage like so explicitly, but there we go.
Mostly, I wanted to use the lightning damage. It just seems cool.
Lightning, the most quiet thing known to.
Let me have you all roll a stealth check here.
Be realistic. It was more
Relatively
like a
quiet.
static electricity shock than like an actual lightning shock.
This is not going well.
There's no guidance on that. This is attached to that climbing down.
Oh.
I'm sorry, but I am a big hater of guidance. It is the type of thing where it is just an absurd thing for you to be guidance, 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 guidance.
You're gonna hate me then.
We'll see. We'll see. It's just not realistic that you are constantly applying an actual spell to yourself, taking 6 seconds while you're climbing down a cliff face.
Oh yeah,
I
except
don't
that.
know
It was a
why
club
they
enough.
didn't- I don't know why they didn't just make it like 10 minutes or something like that. It would make way more sense that you could just hold concentration and guidance one person than be like constantly recasting it.
I guess it's it can't be like a one and done in battle.
Well, it's also a single use versus bless that actually applies to checks across the entire time of the concentration. So as you all begin to climb down, you're able to make a pretty good progression forward. You do all end up slipping at different points. Vicious and Arlyle both knocking some rocks loose from the side of the face as you all climb down. And let me get one more strength check from everyone. And a stealth check from Vicious.
I'm gonna go back to barbarian school.
Oh my God, look at all your good ones are on the right and all the shitty ones are on the left.
At least you've been consistent.
Oh yeah, my bad. That's that same thing though, where it was actually athletics, so you can have the +5 on that anyways.
Yeah, but it'd still be like a 4 plus 5. I mean, I rolled a 1.
I was going to say, so it's a 6.
Yeah, but ones, there's no crit failure and crit success in checks. Those are only for actual attacks.
Right, I'm just saying like a 1 plus a 3 plus an anything is still really low.
It's that famous crit roll clip where it's like, oh, I rolled a 1 on stealth, so 32.
I mean, if I weren't gray-green, I'd be blushing really hard, because this is just embarrassing.
So with that, you all are able to make your way to the base of the cliff, and you are probably 20 or 30 feet away from the group of prisoners. I think at this point, Doc and Vicious would be able to see... Oh, wait, no, Vicious and Arlyle would be able to see there are about 8 prisoners on this area.
I'm going to turn to the other two and go, follow my lead. I'm just going to start strutting up with my weapon.
Vicious, do you recognize Mark,
What?
the monk? Is he upon the prisoners here?
Oh, my friend?
Yes.
I don't know. Do I see my friend?
Let me have you make a perception check, Vicious. While from this distance you cannot be sure what you see, from your first glance it would appear you do not see anyone who seems to match neither the vestments nor the general features of the humanoid that you had met as Leonsin.
So I'm going to shrug and say, I think our idea of him being in the middle of the camp, I think that is him.
Perfect. Act natural, and we will avert these group and come back when the time is right. And I think the best case scenario now would be for us to blend in and stick to the well-traveled portion. So I believe you had said like between camps. So if we could walk from the one where we just descended from towards the most southern one, along where they've been walking.
Alrighty, let me have everyone make charisma checks, please.
Finally, a roll that I've actually got a plus in. Guidance. Can I cast guidance on Vicious though?
Nope, because she already rolled.
Oh, I didn't see it by the tab up. No worries.
I want to see what charisma is supposed to get us.
Blending in a bit.
As you all start to walk through the camp, let me have... Yes, let's have all of you roll a perception and an insight for me. Clearly, the two who are actually blending in are doing a great job blending and have no clue what's actually happening here. But Vicious, you walk past a cultist and just get an odd feeling that he spent too long staring at you. Just seems as if he recognized you.
Is he going about his business?
Do you want to turn around and follow him?
No.
Well, can continue on. Let me have another charisma check from everyone.
I'm assuming the two of us did not notice that Vicious was getting the stare down right there.
That is correct.
Yes,
The two of you notice nothing.
And where are we currently at? How far did we make it?
You're just like walking through the camps at this point.
Like over this area, or are we still back in here?
I would say, I feel like you guys said you wanted to go through the center, so I would say you are probably closer to this kind of area.
Yeah. Sticking to, I think when you had drawn it, you drew like lines between the camps. So that's what we were trying to stick with, like the main area where people were traveling, as opposed to just like walking through the open and looking obvious.
Well, my point is that people are walking between the camps. They're not actually walking, like, in the area. My point was not that my lines were the only lines, but that people are not walking in that area, and people are not walking around the edges. That everybody seems to be walking like with a purpose. That was my point of drawing the line.
Yeah, I thought our plan has been set in stone for ages that we were going to walk around the cliff edge, not through the camp.
No, that makes sense. What you just said makes sense. That we're just not being obvious. We're being charismatic. We're trying to blend in right now, not be sneaky. Because if we start sneaking around the edges, it's going to look obvious. I feel like if somebody sees us. But if we're just playing it like we're part of the crew, it's not going to look nearly as bad. So as we're strolling through this place, like we own it currently, can we make a observation or just sort of like without looking obvious? See if we're drawing any unnecessary attention or anything at the moment.
Let me have you make a charisma and a perception check. Or performance and perception. You're able to kind of glance around relatively inconspicuously and seems like nobody's really paying attention to you all.
So far, so good.
As you get a little bit closer, you can pretty quickly recognize that this figure, though he seems in rougher shape than you would have ever recognized, this would appear to be Leonsin, who is chained up in the central position, kind of alone. He seems beaten, bloodied, and well worse for the wear. So let me get one more performance / charisma check from you all.
I'm a little stunned by how rough of a shape he seems to be in.
As we approach him, are we able to see how he is fashioned or secured?
At present, you see he seems to be kind of lashed at the hands, and then they're brought up over his head, so he's pretty much full extended across like a single like pole placed into the ground, and he's just kind of like lifted up where he's just able to take the weight off of his hands.
Do the lashings appear to be rope or?
It's essentially like a hide.
All right, there's little we can do to not draw attention here, but we just need to be casual and act like we are doing what we are supposed to be doing.
So as you all walk up to him, one more performance check, and what would you like to be doing?
As I go to cut him down, I want you to stand there and look confident and keep your eyes peeled that anyone looks like they are paying particular attention to us.
And use the call sign.
Exactly. Keep it cool.
No, the call sign that we know we have to tell him to prove it's him.
Okay, perfect. As I walk up to him, I will say to him, those who destroy knowledge with ink for those who destroy knowledge with ink, fire, or sword. And then I'll look him straight in the face.
As you say that, his head will kind of perk up. You pretty quickly see this appears to be a rather broken man. And there's like a glint to his eye. And he will say, No, leave me, please. I still have more to learn. Leave this place.
We can't.
But still, let me get performance checks from Doc and Arlyle.
Okay, so I didn't know who that was.
And what were you saying, Vicious?
I'm going to say to him, we can't leave you. You're hurt.
I'm here to get more information from the cult. You are in danger in this place. Need to go.
The only thing you're about to learn is how to die in the hands of your captors. It's time to go.
Can I tell if he is in his right mind or if he is just trying to preserve our lives when he says this?
You can make an insight check. You recall that, oh damn, his name written down right here. Nolan Nassim had mentioned that he had tried to make his way into the cult to try to fashion himself as one of the cultists to try to gain more information on what they were doing. And you gather enough that that's probably what he still has in mind.
All right, I will whisper to him, you're no use, no matter how much knowledge you have. If you're dead, friend, follow our lead. Maybe could try to convince him that we have other plants in place already so that, we're not abandoning his mission, but rather subverting it.
So as you all move up to him with those performance checks, you are going to hear from the north the call of a human who says, Leave that prisoner be. That's Resmir's quarry.
I just wanted to know what he sounded like when he screamed, that's all, but fair enough. Am I right to ask him a quick question before we leave it?
Step away, fool.
When we see this guy talking to us, how far away is he? And would we recognize him as just average Joe or somebody important?
They are yelling from the tent to the north of you all. They are probably about 100 feet away as they yell.
I thought it was one person.
It is one person of 8 different beings that are standing guard around this tent.
Just like as an aside, a second, how do we feel about just walking away, but I slip a dagger in his hand as we go?
Yeah, I think that might be our best bet at this point in time. I mean, the other option is going to be that we have to try to bolt through the camp. We're essentially in the middle of everything. So our two options are to essentially go north past the guys that have already seen us, or try and go back down to the southwest, which was our initial plan. And it's going to be tough, I think, with the prisoner if we've already been noticed.
Yeah, right. So let's go southwest. But do you want to try and do it? You've probably got better sleight of hand than me. Mine's a +0.
Yeah. So I will look at the monk and say, "You've got your wish," and I will sort of like punch him in the stomach. And as I do, I will. Damn, actually, his hands are above his head. You said.
Yarp.
All right, I will. I'll give him like a gentle, like pulled punch. But when I like go to punch past his head, I'll do like an uppercut or whatever, and I'll like slip a dagger in between his hands, like where they're tied, like above his head.
Let me have an investigation from you. And then a sleight of hand. So the amazingness of how railroady this mission is. As you throw a punch into him and go to slide one of your daggers into your hands following the uppercut, he already has a knife in his hands.
That's really weird.
I feel so
Well,
amazing right now.
Again, part of why people hate this mission, this campaign, is because it's railroady. He asks you to leave him, and if you guys leave him, he breaks himself free shortly after. He's got a knife on him. If you guys get captured, he's got a knife on him to free you. There's so many different things where like it doesn't even necessarily matter what you choose because he is set up to escape. So he's there later on, and it's one of those things why a lot of people complain like, oh, well, what's the point of giving us a choice if he already has a knife on him? But that's kind of my point on it, is there's a lot of things that you can do, and this guy in particular has to arrive later on in the campaign, so he has his ways out.
What kind of idiot guards let that happen?
It's the same type of thing as a good rogue who understands how to play as a rogue hides their thieves' tools on their person in places that even when you get captured by a guard, you're likely to still have your thieves' tools.
So to go and just to really test how railroady this is, then let's activate the wildcard protocol, and I'm going to.
Oh, I will kill you guys.
No, I'm only joking.
I'm saying the campaign is built railroady. I am a DM who will murder you.
Sorry. So with that, then I guess as he flashes me the dagger, I'll just give him a wink, and then.
No, it's more when you go to place the dagger in his hand, he already has one.
Okay, perfect. Well, whatever happens then, at that point in time, I'll just give him the wink, like we're on the same page as you are, and then start walking away, back the way we came.
So a final performance check from the three of you all, and you're walking back through the camp?
Yeah, basically just following the orders of the guy who yelled at us.
Nailed it, Vicious.
I was gonna say I'm whistling, but good grief.
Keep it together, Vicious. He will be fine. Just assuming she's being like dramatic because she doesn't want to leave him behind.
Sorry, I had to answer the door.
Those are some absolute shit rolls on your on all of your checks as far as going through this place. The dice.
I don't understand. They got a 22 and a 21.
You got what? Net 14, net 15.
Yeah, these aren't quite the same style as a group check because it's more, I don't know, it's not quite the same thing as like a group stealth check and how silent everybody can be. This is how much you guys are all proficient at not acting like an asshat while you are walking through this camp.
It's like a minimum DC that we have to roll, and like it's not 0.
It's a DC 5 check, and you guys have failed it like 6 times at this point, and it's a DC 5.
That's what I mean.
Nailing it.
Not suspicious at all.
Vicious
Well,
just
the
starts
hilarious
mouthing
thing
slowly.
is you guys are failing it so miserably, and it's not even the fact that essentially Arlyle and Doc roll as a negative as well, like on top of their rolls. It's specifically how many ones Vicious has rolled. Like how many ones have been rolled overall as well, though.
Yeah, I just
TPK.
picture Vicious like angry because she knows the plan. She knows we need to stick to the plan, but she's like, "We're not leaving him behind. He saved my life, and I want to save his too." And it's like, "Damn it, Vicious, just stick to the plan."
Right. So now I'm trying to be angry, but I'm trying not to be angry because we have a plan.
So we're gonna go for, at this point, there is a horn from the northeast, as apparently somebody is alerting the camp from the tower.
Well, okay, but we're in the southwest, so maybe they don't notice us.
Continue to think that this has nothing to do with you.
So you said it sounds like it came from the tower we took out.
That is what I think is a safe assumption for you.
We should run to the prisoners, cut them free, and tell them to run north following the cliff edge, whilst we walk the road.
Sure.
So your plan is to make a dash for the prisoners at the cliff edge where you came down?
No, I think we should,
cool.
Yeah.
Let's get one more performance check from everyone.
Come on, no more ones. A guidance on Vish.
Holy shit.
There we go. I feel like we could cartwheel out of there if we wanted to.
Yeah, maybe they'll think we're circus performers.
Telling you all, if you all had a circus named the Asshats, you would be great at it. I think that was a fucking amazing name for this party.
Oh, thanks, man.
So, as you arrive back at the other prisoners, what would you like to do here? Camp as a whole seems to be getting up into a row as everyone's kind of coming to attention and being shaken out of the libations and celebrations from the taking of Greenest.
All right, why don't the two of you start cutting people free and I will take out anyone who comes near us?
Shall we try for a distraction and light a couple tents on fire, or should we try and keep it discreet?
Any tents we light on fire will be near us, so that doesn't help the situation. Just cut everybody free and make a run for it.
Would draw the attention of anyone coming nearby to the fire instead of to the escapees. And the smoke would likely give us cover as we ascend the cliff, as the smoke too will rise.
See, this is where a flaming arrow into a tent that's not near us would come in real handy.
We have tinder boxes, and our friend here has arrows. Maybe we could just set fire to one of these tents. Let me just ping it here as we walk past them.
Yeah, I feel like we distinguished that there wouldn't be any flaming arrows, but I think that if we light these 3 tents on fire right here from the back after we pass them, it will give us like a smoke wall essentially, and then we can free the prisoners and ascend as quickly as possible.
I don't mean to have been vague about things, but this map is a representation of things at large. Like, none of those are the actual tents. The tents are like 5 by 10, not, these are like, I don't know, 30 to 50 feet circumferences, like, or not circumference, radiuses in these, like, pictures. These are like representations of where the tents are more dense in this camp. Than that those are like specifically 3 tents along that western edge. And then as well as per like lighting the ones that were closer to Leonsin, that's like 500 feet behind you guys now. Or I guess like 400 feet behind you guys now. You've walked through a good chunk of the camp to get back to the prisoners already.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's 3 specific tents or if there's 100. I just meant like the smoke will give us cover as we light whatever tents are nearby on fire.
No, yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that it's not particular 3, but like the close ones is definitely an option for you to do to light inside of that pack.
Yeah, and if possible, I'd like to basically come around to like the cliff side of the tents so that like nobody's like blatantly seeing me light them on fire.
So as he prepares to light some tents, what are the other 2 doing?
Am I still naked?
What was that from Marlisle?
Am I still naked?
Yeah, I would say you have not taken any time to put your armor back on. I believe it would essentially be stashed. I would kind of assume that you stash it at the top of the ropes you've set up here. But probably the last time you spoke about it was actually closer to the other, to the watchtower.
Would I know what any like symbols of this clan would be? Like any draconic symbols that I've seen around? Any bad?
No, I don't think so. I think at this point, I feel like I've dropped enough clues at this point for you all to know that they specifically raided Greenest not representing themselves as the Cult of the Dragon. That the cult itself went in there incognito as just random commoners and whatnot.
In that case, then I just get ready to move out as soon as he's lit his spark. I'm just gonna be ready to just keep moving to the left. Sorry, to the west.
And Vicious, are you doing anything while Doc begins to light camps on fire?
No, I'm gonna wait for him to signal as to when I should start cutting prisoners free. Other than that, I'm seeing if anyone comes our way, and if they do, I'm gonna hit them.
All right.
Yeah, as soon as they're
Nope. What were you saying?
as soon as they are in position to start freeing the prisoners, I'll give them the nod, and I will light like a torch and pull out maybe like two more or whatever, and just essentially do like the old running gun and just light the tents on fire like one after another.
Like you're tossing the torches out onto the huts?
Like maybe I'll like light the first like couple or whatever, and then run down the line and kind of like toss a couple towards like the further ones. Like I said, I'm trying to create almost like a smoke wall. Like I know they're not laid out like the map, but just like the ones that are most on the edge, basically. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, you know, just kind of, if you imagine me just holding three torches and I light a couple and then drop one, and then like light the next couple and leave one behind, and then like light the last couple.
Let me have an investigation from you, Doc. As you go to light the first of the tents, you see that they're made of like wood and bone poles. They seem to be mud and sod. But it may take a little bit more for these to catch than just being able to run by and light areas. You can pretty quickly, I would say, guess that you would take either a torch per tent that you want to light, or it would almost be a very delayed start to the fire if you try to just light parts of it and kind of hope that it catches on fire in a more drastic way.
Okay, affirmative. Seeing this and realizing they're not just going to go up in a quick blaze, I will leave one behind for each tent. I have 7 total, so I could just potentially do all 7, or if there's only 5 around, I'll do 5, whatever.
Yeah, so I would say from that, you can pretty much, like, if you want to throw away 7 torches, you can knock those off, and basically what you would do is, from your, like, hidden position in, I'd say, like, the northern one, you could be hidden enough to feel safe doing this. You light a torch, and essentially, like, holding it upside down, like 2 together, you basically light the next one, holding it still like upside down so it has the most material burning up, and then you throw the original torch that you lit and kind of keep doing this as you progressively light the next torch going to the next tent, and essentially like throwing it into the into position on the hut, to essentially like, it's basically you're adding like fuel and wick to these essentially part of the problem is the mud that you use to make these style of huts is pretty anti-inflammatory, so they're kind of set almost as if they are used to what dragons might do even when you're friendly to them.
Absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. I couldn't have described it better myself.
So with that, as he starts to light the tents, Vicious and Doc, what would you like to do?
You mean Arlisle?
Yep, my bad. Vicious and Arlo.
All right. So how many prisoners are there?
There are 8.
Okay, so I'll start getting some of them free.
Yeah, same. I'll start cutting them.
Do you want to say anything to them while you cut them free? Are you trying to accomplish anything? They're kind of
Yeah, I'm gonna say once you're free, follow the cliff, run north, and make your way to Greenest. We'll meet you there. And as you know, I'm not gonna say it to them, but as I've made it clear before, I'm not that concerned with their safety. I want them to be a distraction more than I am chaotic neutral at the end of the day. I mean, what's it? Chaotic good, is it?
I'm a half orc. I'll just cut them free. If Arlisle wants to save stuff, that makes sense. But I got my mission.
No, I'm telling that. If they survive, that's great. You know, fantastic. Well done, guys. I'll ruffle their hair and go, "Yeah, I'm proud of you." But if they die, oh, it's so bad. They we tried our best and they almost got away, but they just so happened to draw loads of attention away from us. We could get our VIP out.
Oh
Right,
yeah, a
better than
paladin
never.
who does evil shit, there's no way that could go wrong for you.
I never get to play a character for more than about 6 weeks anyway, so it'll be fine.
Do you think that's somewhat related?
Most of them survive. Ophir's alive, Jape's alive, Niall's alive. In fact, they're all alive.
Yeah, I'm just saying, playing a this character dancing along the lines of doing evil shit is going to be fun to fuck with.
Yeah, he's what's it called? Not a celestial. Fuck what they call Aesomire anyway. So he, in his own mind, he already is a god. So he's all about self worship more than he is deity worship.
Yep, and that's going to get him killed.
Well,
So
control,
as
so
soon
I'm
as
good
you
with it.
cut the people loose and tell them that they are supposed to run for Greenest, you start to hear the first bits of screams coming from these civilians. And they yell, "Where are we? Where's Greenest? Where do we go?"
I'm
North,
gonna
follow
point
the cliff
north.
face and get out, or climb up this rope behind us. Your call, whatever. I'm gonna die anyway. Don't mind.
So you guys are able to cut these people free. They start to run in many different directions, generally speaking, following the cliff. Some of them go north, most of them go north. Some of them go south, some of them just kind of stop and don't really know what to react, seeming to be almost catatonic.
The ones that are catatonic, can I give them a little bit of healing?
If you would like, you can make a insight check if you would like as well.
All right, insight 20.
These people aren't injured so much as they have no clue what to think at present and are in shock more than perhaps anything.
I said run, or you're gonna fucking die. Do you wanna die? Get out of here. North or up the rope. Your choice, not my problem.
I'm repeating that.
And Doc will say, I believe self-preservation takes priority. Shall we?
We should.
Let's go.
You two go first.
So, if you all are ready to start to climb out of here, you've got strength checks or athletics checks to make your way up the cliff face.
You will notice that as Doc came back from lighting all the tents on fire, that he has a cigarette in his mouth right now.
Things are not going well today.
So, what's the order that you guys were climbing up? I'm assuming Arlyle was at the bottom. He's like the third.
Yeah, I think he said he was staying in the back. And I'm assuming just by what Doc said that he's just going to be like, fuck it, I'm going. So I would be first then.
Let me get another round of strength checks from you all. Again, they can be athletics if you have proficiency.
As Doc climbs up the rope, he'll just kind of whisper out the side of his mouth that doesn't have the cigarette. I knew I'd be dangling from a rope eventually, but didn't expect it to be this soon.
Climb with your hands and not your neck, my friend.
That was probably our best 3 rolls that we've ever had in a year of playing D&D.
Well done, everyone.
And another round here.
And back to normal.
So at this point, Doc is about 30 feet up the cliff face. Vicious is about 15 feet up the cliff face, and Arlyle is just kind of held up behind Vicious. One more round of strength check. Doc's about 40 feet up, about halfway up the cliff. Vicious and Arlyle right about 20-25 feet up. Another round, please.
Doc will mutter to himself, this plan seemed easier from the top.
I should have dropped some of these things. Too heavy.
Yeah,
This
was it
isn't
don't roll a
weight
1
loss.
on the way down? You could knock stones out by failing on the way down. On the way up, you actually have to work. My bad. What were you saying, Arla?
I was saying I'm becoming too old for this stuff.
So Doc kind of takes a moment to enjoy the tuberculosis around halfway up the cliff as he takes a nice little hit of his cigarette, forgetting to climb, and just sort of kind of hangs out at that point. You see him kind of shaking off his hands a little bit. Vicious and Arlyle are able to make a little bit of the gap, and you guys are all roughly about that halfway point. One more strength check, please.
You'll hear him coughing a little bit. Oh, feel great. I am going to use a luck point on the 1. Doc spits out his cigarette. Fucking smoke, and I quit.
So, as you start to cough yourself a little bit into a delirious state, you nearly slip and fall. You're able to catch yourself at the last moment. Vicious is able to catch up to you, and Arlyle's just a little bit behind Vicious at that point. Another round of strength checks, please.
It's a lot of strength checks to get up a little bit.
70 to 90 foot cliff.
It may have to
Hopefully.
pass me here soon if I keep rolling like this.
So you all hear some commotion below, as apparently there's yelling at the tents that seem to be on fire. Attention seems to be drawn this way, though you don't necessarily catch anything as uh like that would make you think that they've really spotted you yet, but they are certainly starting to catch sight of the distraction that has been left below. Let me have another round of strength checks, please.
That's more like it.
So as Vicious kind of like starts to catch up with Doc, and he seems to be struggling a little bit, Vicious is able to give him a little bit of an assistance as the two of them progress forward. But I'm basically giving you that access to the advantage as you rolled a 20 and she rolled over a 20. And we're going to let that progress forward as a nice little assist. And you all are hashtags in the wrong space. Doing pretty solid getting towards the top here. It's starting to get a little bit closer, a little bit like less steep, like further to the top. And well, for like Doc and Vicious at this point, Arlau, you're kind of like at the end of like the sheerest part of this cliff. But one round of strength checks again for me, please.
Anybody below him will see that Doc clenches his cheeks and goes for the big pull to get up the last little bit. Here we go, y'all. Still got a little bit in the old tank.
Face cheeks or ass cheeks? Does dog shit himself?
He poops a little bit.
Don't have another luck? That's sticking?
I'm assuming that we did not get a rest in between the last session, and I used a luck on our previous session.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't want to put you all on exhausted coming into this session, but that was one thing that I felt like how it played out. You guys would have been nearing exhaustion coming into this, and then having
That's
three
like
of
our
you.
12 for this session, like our 12 for one or something.
Oh yeah, you guys have been throwing away a lot of 20s on the backside and rolling plenty of ones on the front side.
Just threw out a 1 on the backside as well, if you know what I mean.
We're gonna play this as Doc sort of starts to slip, and kind of fall back a little bit. Vicious knocking her, like getting knocked back a little bit, and Arlisle will be the one that kind of keeps the two of them from falling off. And you guys are all pretty much at that same point on the rope again. Let me have another round of strength.
Go ahead and just climb right over top of me and pass me. I'm staying here.
I'm gonna push him. We need to get out of here before they come after us.
Yeah,
I'm
you guys have
trying.
been really lucky that I've only rolled one time that anything kind of happened from below. So for how shitty you guys are at climbing up the rope, nobody's paying attention to you at present.
I'm trying, Vicious. My arms are burning. I can barely move them.
Are you using both arms? Or is one on that second?
Both my arms combined are about the size of one of Vicious's, so I'm trying to lift with my legs, but it's not quite working.
You all are able to make a little bit of progress forward there. You're getting certainly closer to the top here, where at least hope is in your hearts, if not confidence that you have the strength to make it. Another round of strength checks, please.
So 1 from me, but 4 in total.
Let me have a strength saving throw from you, Arlau.
12.
Alright, so you are going to lose the rope for a moment, and you are able to catch yourself, but you do have a loss of progress there, as the other two are nearly at the top, where you guys are essentially one success away, and Arlisle is about 20 feet back behind you. So let me
Move your
get
big grey ass, fucking Vicious. You're making me slower.
Let me have another round of strength checks from you all. Doc and Vicious are able to climb to the top here. And then let me have Doc and Vicious. One of you roll a strength check with advantage to pull Arlisle up, and then Arlisle a strength check with advantage to climb up.
I will look over at Vicious and say, "It's you, darling."
So with that, you can quickly get him up to the top. Yeah, you got it with the 18. You can get him up to the top. All of you are at this top area here. You can either take 10 minutes to don your armor, or you can throw it into your backpack and move on from here. But essentially below, while there seems to be much of a commotion, It doesn't seem like anything has been attracted specifically to you all here, and you are able to remove your rope and kind of hide your escape route.
Yeah,
That's pretty crazy.
I'll just give a gentle tug to the rope and make sure there's nothing attached to it, nobody following us, and then I will just slowly, ever so slowly, begin to pull it up because I am exhausted from that climb. My arms are burning. I might even tie it around my waist and just start walking away to pull it up.
All right, I'm gonna help and just yank the whole thing up.
Holy shit, I can't believe we made it up that wall. I thought for sure we were doomed, at least one of us. So Arlau, you're putting on your armor, I'm assuming? Is that what you said?
100%. You've all seen enough. If I let you look at me any longer to start charging,
And I'd say it's pretty safe to assume that there's no way any of those prisoners were going to make it up that rope.
I don't think they started. They're stupid.
I don't think
I'm glad we didn't save
Leosin
them. That was
had a
natural selection.
chance. The trying to
Yeah,
get
that makes
prisoners to
sense.
climb up the rope was pretty much a terrible escape route for any of the prisoners.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense considering like how hard it was for us, and we're like heroes,
Well, let's not give you guys that title yet.
legends. Then
Mildly above average.
Hey,
I've been called worse.
Vaguely average?
I like to live my life on the borderline of mediocrity and unnoticeable, or less rememberable. Doc will light another cigarette. Oh, excuse me.
This
Anyone catch one?
So, with a mild chaos below, a good bit of time spent donning armor, what would you all care to do?
follow the way out clockwise, I guess, to the northwest, but not too close to the cliff edge, guys.
Yeah, I think we'll stick to the button hook plan. At this point in time, we know they're probably looking for us. So we're going to, I think, try to stray from the path as much as possible and make our way back. Now we have the location. We're assuming that the monk will be able to free himself. And I think that's pretty much our mission as far as we had so far.
Yeah, sounds about right. Make our way back to Greenest, or do we want to sort of camp out nearby-ish to wait to see if our prisoner gets out, or are we just gonna make our way back, avoiding conventional pathing to avoid the patrol coming in and anyone that might be following us?
Yeah, I think now we got to just stick with the plan as far as, we're leaving the monk to fend for himself. All the prisoners that we freed are probably either dead or going to die. And, basically this was more of a reconnaissance mission than anything.
All right,
Prison
cool.
is
Let's
a
go.
failure.
I feel like you guys did a great job sacrificing the prisoners.
That's what we call the old hoodwink, the diversion.
My guy's not long for this world, so he may as well make the most of his chaotic good tendencies whilst he can.
So, with your button hook in mind, how far are you all looking to go out of your way before you start to make what you assume is the way back to Greenest?
I think we would go awkwardly out of our way and try to get a rest in with no fire.
So, something like essentially going like southwest from where you're at and kind of progress a little bit further into these hills / mountain ranges of
Yeah, I think I think our best bet is to go far out of the way and try to get a rest as opposed to trying to just go a little out of the way and make haste. Do you guys agree or disagree or have any alternative ideas?
I
Back
guess none of thine fuck.
back on this main page here, do you guys see where the camp is, like essentially where you are leaving?
Yeah, right at the
No.
south of it.
Present location all the way down at the bottom?
Yep, like vaguely southeast of Greenest. So like if you progressed like west and then started to head like northwest, you could stay near the edge of the mountains, or you could progress southwest deeper into the mountains. But is that like, how would you like to progress with that? Like, because you will be essentially getting close to exhausted to progress forward anymore.
When we came in, did we sort of just come like this way? Like a straight route?
Yeah, following their trail was pretty much a direct route from Greenest into the camp. You guys would have only
Okay, yeah,
redirected yourself at like the final point as you were starting to get into these foothills of that you redirected around the ambush that Hadar spotted.
Yeah, I think we go for the old button hook around like the edge, try to find like a discreet place to camp without going too far, and then like head north after that, but stay off any beaten path.
All right.
What do you think, Josh?
Yes. I think, indeed.
And Vicious, you're good with that?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think with that in mind, you guys would probably have about 2 days making your way back to Greenest. I think you could overall have a pretty uneventful trip back there, redirecting for far enough through those mountains, where it's not so much a question of managing everything, so much as just using some of your supplies to stay out of the most direct contacts. And we'll probably just pick up with you all back in Greenest next session. But I feel like this is relatively as good of any place to stop at this point, before kind of picking up with the next act from here. There's essentially like information drop before jumping into the next part of the story. So for what it's worth, I think it's kind of the point where we should rejoin with the rest of the group. Unless you guys want to progress forward with a little bit of the information dump and have that be part of the recap for next session.
That's cool, man. Whatever makes sense.
I mean, I'm good with whatever. If you want to wait on the information dump, but I'm definitely down to play a little bit longer if you guys want.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm fine. I ain't doing that.
Yeah, I mean, even if we're just like RPing around town or something like that.
Yeah, so, when you all arrive back in Greenest, it's 4 days later from when they were actually assaulted. Everything is still in a modicum of disarray. They are kind of getting their feet back on the ground, but are still vastly in a terrible condition at this point. You can meet back up with Tarbaugh, give him updates on the actual location of the cult camp. He's certainly pleased with you all. Let's see, assuming that I pay you for everybody, it's 2 crooks. We will give you all, 1,250 gold, and Tarbaugh has set up a healer's kit that he gathered for, Vicious from some of the materials around town. So, party loot list here.
Dr. Vicious.
So I've added those for you from Tarbaugh. As always, if you take any of the gold out of the party loot list, or when Vicious puts the healer's kit on her character, just delete them from the party loot list. But that was the payment he agreed for you all. And again, we'll just go with the idea that the other 2 rejoined you from whatever it was that they were trying to accomplish around the camp, so that they still get paid for the same quest as well. And what else might you all care to do as you arrive back in Greece?
Well,
Should we?
food.
Go ahead, Vicious.
Definitely food.
Yeah, some food might not be such a bad idea.
Like
See
if
we
you
can't find us a warm meal.
if you're looking to get like rations and things, you guys can certainly set up food on that level. But this is a town of people who many people are going to starve and potentially die going into the winter. This is not a place to get quote unquote a warm meal at this point. It's going to be porridge and rice for these people for a while. You're going to have to go to another place before you can find goods on that level.
Can't we go into the forest and kill something then?
You can spend a little bit of time going on an excursion to go hunting in either the plains or to the northwest to go hunting. But my point is this town was just raided by a dragon within the week. Like, now is not the time to, like, say, oh yeah, we're gonna go out and have a wonderful, nice meal to celebrate not dying. This is a town that was just raided. It was just sacked.
Vicious, I like where your head is at. Perhaps a small little hunting excursion, and we can contribute a couple fresh animals.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. We can do that, and doing so, we can help bring some supplies back for the town. If we hunt enough, we can help some people here as well.
Right, we can get some food.
Yeah, could we do like
and instantly negate all those prisoners we let.
Yeah, perfect. Could we do like a small hunting excursion? Is that acceptable?
Yeah, let me have who's got survival as a proficiency.
I am proficient at surviving, but do not have survival at a proficiency, if that makes sense.
We've all managed to survive so far.
But no, I definitely do not have it. I don't know if anybody else does.
Nope.
Let me have a group survival check as you all wander off into the plains.
Guidance.
No guidance. This is you guys going hunting.
You're guided for 1 minute, so unless we see an animal in the first minute of hunting.
Yeah, this is a day of you guys hunting, and I assure you, if you're going to cast guidance on yourself throughout the day, there will be no creatures that get tricked into dying to you. You guys look at this paladin who's constantly casting guidance on himself, and all of the animals in the area have given themselves a mile around you.
Josh, stop making a spectacle of everything. Quit with the goddamn guidance.
But it's my bill.
I already gave you a warning.
Oh.
I am not the DM to try to rock out guidance on. You can use it for things that it makes sense to use guidance on. Like when you guys are you've done pretty good at it, but having it constantly up is not going to be an option.
No, I was just laughing because I pictured exactly what you said. Him doing guidance and it scaring away all the animals. So I felt like the dice give him a 1 for it.
Yeah, like it's got verbal components, so I think it's hilarious that people want to constantly cast guidance on themselves to do stealth checks. Like you're making your presence known and trying to be stealthy. Okay.
You like say a small prayer. You're like, God, protect me and don't allow them to see me. And they're like, you were spotted speaking out loud.
I could whisper.
No, that's funny. Perhaps we could try to be like sneaky and like set some sort of traps, or I'm probably best with my bow at a distance. Maybe we should see which way the wind is blowing. Try to get out of direct sunlight. Perhaps build like a small tree stand.
This is what rangers are for. We'll call that the morning on the first day that you all went hunting. Let me have you do another survival check for the evening.
So far, I'm down 1 additional ration and have not seen anything alive besides the 3 of us.
What makes you think I'm alive?
Dear Lord.
Nailed it. Do I get guidance on that?
If you average together your last 2 rolls, your current average is 0.5.
Oh, I should have asked. Are you all trying to hunt as a group? Because I was definitely assuming you were hunting as a group, and I'm starting to think
no,
it
I'm
might.
definitely trying. I would like to try to hunt at a distance with my bow. Perhaps do like if there's a tree around, I'd like to do the tree stand idea. If there's not, I'll do like the just like stay in one spot for as long
No.
as it takes.
You guys are in a massive plain. This is like the breadbasket of Faerun. This is just, it's flat lands all up to the mountains of and it is many days travel to the woods to the northwest or to the woods to the northeast. That's part of why I laughed when you guys said you wanted to go hunting. You're basically like hoping for like prairie dogs.
Okay, I'll go for some heavy grass or like brush, and then just post up at the edge somewhere where I have like a decent view, and I'll just sit there with my bow and just wait.
Prairie dogs make good eating.
The fuck is a prairie dog?
It's a rodent.
It's like a rat, but in the plains.
It's like
Fuck is
a prairie damn it. What the fuck is it? Hedgehog? A prairie beaver? They're definitely rodents. They're, I don't know, like marsupials? No, not marsupial. That's the wrong word.
Like squirrels, big squirrels without tail.
Yeah, they're squirrel-like.
I would think a man of your stature has seen the famous play, The Lion King. I believe that one of the main characters was a prairie dog, the one who was friends with the boa. I'm not sure if you've seen that specific play.
Well, that was a mix.
Yes, very similar. Very similar.
Mate, that's some straight up shit. It's one of my favorite plays. I do go to see it from time to time. Sometimes I try to get on stage myself to join it. I've nearly made it.
Yes, I went with a woman I was trying to impress. Did not go as planned. Apparently, prostitutes are not big fans of the plays. They would rather do other things.
I still can't help imagine Josh going to Lion King live and like trying to charge the stage with a lightsaber.
That's pretty funny.
I'll send you the video. You don't have to imagine it. Then.
And now I imagine that there's proof that my imagination actually happened.
A Florida man is arrested trying to charge stage at Lion King wielding 7 lightsabers.
General Grievous.
Oh, General Kenobi, the negotiator.
So I'm going to go with the idea that you all have a rather disappointing first day out hunting, and we'll call it this is where you guys get the idea to separate into different groups into the evening. Would you all like to take one last try at hunting through dusk, or are you interested in just going back to Greenest and waiting till the next day?
Perhaps we should separate a little bit. I will attempt to stay still and not smoke any cigarettes and see how that works. So far, I have only been able to secure a stick.
Is it a good stick?
No, I shot an arrow at it and it broke my arrow.
Well, then it's a good stick.
You shot an arrow at the stick.
Yes, I thought it was moving, but apparently it was just blowing in the wind. Broke my arrow, so I kept it out of spot.
It's hardwood, strong stick. Then it could be worth something.
So I was thinking I could make a lot of noise and scare stuff toward you if there's anything to scare toward you.
But wouldn't it?
I think if we separate as much as possible, and then you make some noise like very, very far away from me, that it would potentially not hurt, if that makes sense. But at this point in time, I think perhaps being as inconspicuous as possible will help. As I don't know how much you have seen, but I think we're more likely to catch a buzzard at this point in time.
I'm just picturing you sitting in the middle of a field being all nice and quiet, but there's a spiral of smoke coming up.
If you're going to try and
Yes.
scare the animals, then let me cast guidance on you first.
Yes, I think smoking cigarettes was not the best idea. Now, in hindsight, they may have smelled me. So yeah, I will hunt through dusk, and attempt one more time. I don't know if everybody else wants to try.
Yeah, but I'm going to do separate from you, so you're not being laboured by me and my failures.
Wait a second. Are you all trying to... are you going to follow through with the idea that Vicious will scare animals towards Doc and you will be guidancing Vicious? Or are you going back to just hunting solo?
Hunting solo.
No, I don't think that's a bad idea. If Vicious makes some noise like far away from me, and potentially like anything in between the two of us would come my way, as opposed to, but staying plenty far apart, so that it's not just like we're two people standing like 100 yards apart making noise. If that makes sense.
Right, like there should be a large prairie dog warren that we could tell was where the prairie dogs were because we can see them from a distance, and then I go around it to the other side, and then I start stopping and making noise with them all hitting the ground. And all the prairie dogs should run toward Doc.
Can't go worse than our previous plan, so I say we give it a shot.
So we will do Arlisle just making a survival check, Doc making a survival check with advantage, and then a performance from Vicious.
It's my survival just to see if I remember to keep breathing.
No, I just gathered that you were hunting on your own.
Josh, your average just went up by like 4 points.
Well, it's 14 now of guidance.
No, this is the same thing where it is hours of time. You had a chance to guide her on the performance check.
I'm fucking with you.
Oh no,
I'm fucking with.
that was an in-game guidance for an out-of-game action. He just guided his whiskey to his mouth for a +2.
Yeah.
That's why I was trying to get you to actually help her in a performance check to scare things to Doc, because that was a viable option for guidance, because it was essentially two people waiting to position themselves to scare stuff towards Doc.
Yeah, I got that, but I thought I'd rather just mess around.
No, that was funny. I feel like 17's pretty good.
Yeah, at that point, let's do a D6 from Doc and a D4 from Arlisle.
But first, I have to shoot my bow at something other than a stick. Huzzah! Sorry, but would you say a D4? I just wanted to shoot my bow.
A D6.
No, you're a decent.
Huzzah!
You've
All
really
right.
killed something.
Arlisle, you are
Yes,
able
6.
to grab yourself... Oh, you rolled 2d4. Oh, wait, one of those was the guidance. A prairie dog, and then let's do a small deer for Doc.
Yes, I'll call it Bambi.
You just killed it.
Bambi's mother, I'm sorry. I believe Bambi got away. I killed the small adult female.
Almost
Excellent.
as if-
Well, at least we didn't go negative.
Almost as if working as a team helped.
Yes, I think we're getting pretty good at this. Perhaps we can do it again one more time.
You know, working as a team, we got nothing. Working separately, we got 2 animals.
Well, no, Vicious scared him my way and gave me advantage, so that worked out pretty good. I mean, obviously I got the 17 for my primary role, but anything that works to give us advantage, I feel like is good.
True, but a team of 2 people got 1 animal, and me working solo, I also got 1 animal. So,
Yeah, the D6 was because you basically were over 15, and if it was a 6, I was like, it'll be a large animal. Otherwise, it was going to be up to 5 prairie dogs type of thing.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's pretty good though. One deer is like pretty good, not for like a whole town, but at least we can have a hot meal. But potentially options would be to camp out one more night and hunt one more day, or just go back to town now. Is that basically what you were saying?
we could leave the prairie dog I caught out as bait and see if we can catch something big.
The only thing we'd get is a vulture.
Well, no, when we clean the deer, we'll have like all the entrails and everything. So perhaps we can like set a little trap with all the entrails and everything. The blood will attack possibly like predators or something like that. So if there's any like wolves, hyenas, any kind of like flesh eaters, maybe we could like sort of set a trap that way.
I don't know about you, but whenever I've cleaned myself in the past, I haven't ended up with excess entrails.
Oh dear boy, you're not doing it
You
right.
know,
There should be
you ain't scrubbing hard enough.
I'm assuming you just end up with a little puddle of disappointment and some excretion.
Yes, but the maid deals with. It's usually partially her fault. That's how she earns her Christmas bonus.
So yeah, I would say if we could camp out one more night and try to potentially set like a trap with the entrails, and then first night we could still eat rations or whatever and not do a fire, and then like see how the next day goes, and then possibly have a warm meal tomorrow when we get back.
Oh, well, you can definitely get some good eating out of the prairie dog, and then there's some better parts of the deer that are worth cooking the day of. So I think that's acceptable if you all camp out and leave a good bit of the leftovers from field dressing the deer into a trap. Let me have you. God, if only you all had a ranger. Roll a nature and a survival for creating the trap. And let's just call it with advantage and then with guidance as all 3 of you do them. Oh no, my bad. Still just Doc. We'll have Vicious helping Arlyle giving guidance.
Not very well.
So I think wait, is it advantage on the
So.
nature or no?
No, basically on both. Roll a d4 for the nature check and then a d4 for the survival.
Okay.
So you do a pretty good job locating a viable spot to set the trap and to kind of do your field dressing with the trap in mind. And then we will have, yeah, you all can basically camp out. You have a pretty simple night out on the prairie. Are you concerned about sleeping? Are you all just going to sleep at the same time? What are your thoughts there?
I will watch the like trapped area. Would you say that we like fashioned a trap, or that we essentially like set a like trap as in like using the meat? Because that's kind of what I was thinking, is using like the entrails to attract a potential predator.
Oh, okay. I mistook that. Yeah, you can definitely watch where you leave the entrails. That's fine.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was picturing. Like potentially getting a predator or scavenger or something like that. So I would say I would ideally stay up as long as I can without, I mean, I don't care if I get exhaustion, but it's pointless if I get disadvantage on ability checks. So, but I mean, we're basically
I give you guys.
but we're basically just going back to town anyway, so it doesn't
There's
really matter.
definitely not going to be a Tarrasque that eats Arlyle.
A pterodactyl swoops down and eats Arla.
If it tries to eat me, I'm going to try and escape, and I'll get guidance on that, so it'll be fun.
Don't accidentally give the pterodactyl guidance when he eats you, though.
No, Tarrasque.
Oh yeah, I don't know what that is. I just said pterodactyl because it was funny.
What is it?
It's a really good creature to fight with 5 to 10 level 20s.
So you're saying there's a chance?
When Ben asked me if the gully looked like a footprint, he was talking about a Tarrasque's footprint. You watch Pokemon when like the giant turtles that have like massive islands on their back kind of stand up and start moving around. That's what Tarrasques are. When they move, like the entire Earth seems like it's moving.
Oh, it's a dinosaur demon. Excellent.
How do you spell it?
Guidanc.
You are wrong.
So is Doc the only one staying up to watch the trap?
Well, I got night vision, so I mean, I could do it, or I could help. We could watch it in shifts, mate.
Yeah, like normal things. We'll watch it in shifts.
So you all can watch 6 hours of the night of an 8-hour long rest. Who wants to watch when?
Beautiful. I will go first because I do not have night vision.
Carlisle, Vicious, when would you like to watch?
I can go middle.
I'll go towards the end then, but I guess I'll cover from like up until the moment everyone else gets up to like dead
You're
of
going to
night.
watch
I
for
guess
4 hours?
what's the longest I can watch for without, I don't know,
2
going
hours.
fucking.
That's why I said you guys have an 8-hour long rest ahead of you, and you can watch for 6 hours of it between the three of you. So you can choose more than beginning, middle, and end. There's 8 different hours that people can be watching.
What if I only take a couple of short rests? Does that give me exhaustion, or am I right?
If you don't sleep for 6 hours in an 8-hour rest, you will get exhaustion. If you do pretty much anything other than just relaxing during those other 2 hours, you as well will still fail to get a long rest and eventually come up with exhaustion.
Right, and towards the end.
We need to sleep 6 hours of the 8 hours.
Yeah, you have to do essentially, if anything comes to eat the food, you will basically be throwing away the long rest anyways and have to sleep at another point anyways. But the point of a long rest is that you can watch and essentially do nothing while you are taking 2 hours of watching, but doing nearly anything will make you lose out on the long rest. Even if you rested for 7.5 hours and something happened at the end of it, you still miss out by doing pretty much anything.
Yeah, that's not bad though. If we're going back to town after this and we rested since our excursion already, before we came hunting, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because all it would do, we would still get all the benefits, just not having took a long rest. We would have exhaustion while we're back in town, right? So that's not bad.
Yeah, overall having a level of exhaustion isn't really a big deal in the least bit.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good then. I would say, like obviously I'm not as useful at night, but I can attempt to like assist them during their shifts or whatever. And anybody can stay up and assist me during mine or whatever. So I think that's ideal probably because if the exhaustion is not really going to hurt us, there's no reason that we need to sleep tonight.
Well, what if you spot anything, you give me a note and wait.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Right, you'll wake us up if, there's a problem. Whoever's on watch will wake up the others.
Yeah, just quiet. So it didn't startle the animal.
So is somebody planning on taking more than a 2-hour watch?
Yeah, I will. I'll watch like the first 4 hours, and like before it gets dark, and then they can each do 2 hours during the dark or however they want to do it.
What does the point of exhaustion do?
First level of exhaustion is a disadvantage to ability checks.
I mean, we just take 2 extra hours. It's like a longer night, and then he's got his 6 hours, right? After his 4 hours of watching.
Well, no, I'm willing to take the point of exhaustion to get 2 attempts at essentially like an encounter because it's really not going to hurt anything because essentially I would do my 2 activities and then we would go through the night. I wouldn't get a night of rest. So I would just be at disadvantage for ability checks like while we're going back to or in town. So it's not really anything bad.
Join to do it because I've got night vision. I'll just take the point of exhaustion and just stay up all night.
Yeah, we can both do it. I mean, essentially, that's the point is that I'm willing to not worry about exhaustion and hunt like the 2 hours where there would still be sunlight or like kind of going into dark. And then you guys can do whatever you want through the night. And, because I'm pretty much useless at night anyway to try to hunt with my bow.
Well, I'll do it because if this spills into the next session and someone's going to end up with a point of exhaustion for the next session, it's better off being me since you're the DPS. So I'll do it because I got night vision. And you
Guys
rest,
are-
and I'll wait you up.
Well, yeah, we could both do it. And then we can just go back to town and rest for a night. I mean, assuming that like we're waiting on Ben and Jan anyway, like as much time as we want can pass before we have to do anything pretty much.
You guys are already hunting at night. You took the deer at night. So that was already past dusk when you guys had done that. The first roll you guys did was your day. The second roll was your afternoon. And the third roll was after dusk. So you didn't even take anything until after the sun had already gone down. If you
okay.
are leaving it as a trap to watch, you guys, it doesn't really matter whether you have night vision or not. You are just as much listening for things to essentially be eating the garbage that you left behind. This is like the opposite of how you go into the woods and you make sure to prepare your food away from your campsite. You guys prepared your food next to your campsite, so anything that would come to eat the deer's remnants would come right to your campsite. So it is more a question of, is somebody going to be awake at the random chance that as you go through your long rest, something actually comes to eat it?
Yes.
The goal is to go 2-person shifts to watch the trap at all times, so that we can essentially like work as a team in the event that we do see something, if that's acceptable. So like I'll do the first shift with one of you assisting, and then you two can do the second shift together, and then I'll do the third shift assisting one of you.
I'll be honest with you, mate. You lost me, so I'm just going to say yes.
Okay, cool.
So, the first shift that you're talking about is your first 2 hours watching. Second shift would be Vicious's 2 hours watching. Third shift would be Arlyle's 2 hours watching, and then the last 2 hours are just Arlyle? Or is that Arlyle and...
And then I'll assist Arlisle for the last one.
Alright, so I feel like that got absurdly complicated for you all just to say, yeah, we're just all gonna stay up overnight. Let me have perceptions from, I feel like the first 2 hours are Doc with advantage, and then perceptions for Vicious at advantage for the second two, perceptions from Arlyle at advantage for the 6 and 7, or the 5 and 6, and then I don't know who's the main watcher for the last one.
Can I, and bear with me on this
Yeah,
one,
boy.
give Vicious guidance to help her get to sleep?
There is no guidance. I cannot tell you how quickly I will delete guidance as a spell if this continues.
He's just trying to pull your
Can I do a saving throw to keep guidance?
No, but you will soon release the Mad Mage from his dungeon. The one more from Vicious with advantage, and the one more from Arlyle with advantage. And then again, I'm not sure who was watching 7 and 8.
I would like to do a luck point on my 5-8 roll right there if I can. Yeah, boy.
Arlyle's too busy trying to clean his nails or something.
Spit polishing machine.
Do you have like dragon claws?
I feel like it was way too unclear as to who's watching the last set, but the only time anything actually happens is on hour 6. So Arlyle does notice when something comes about. Are you interested in waking everybody as you hear animals digging through the deer carcass? Around the 6th hour of the evening, you would hear something at the deer carcass. Would you like to wake everyone?
I'm going to put my hand over Doc's mouth and then flick him on the temple until he opens his eyes, and I'm gonna point at the trap. Do I see what it is that's eating the bait?
Unless it's vicious, I'm gonna shoot it.
Well, hold your horses. I've got me a little plan here, darling. You're talking to a paladin here, son. He's got spells. That was my American accent. Little darling.
There are quite a few pretty large bird-like beasts that seem to be picking at the carcass as they are kind of having a midnight snack or mid-morning snack.
How far away are we?
I feel like you all would vaguely have set up within like 30 to 40 feet.
Excellent. Should we shoot him?
Yeah, I'm gonna put a arrow in my bow, pull it back, take
I'm gonna
aim.
pull out javelin.
Did anybody wake up
Yeah,
Vicious?
I've got my. Oh yeah, shit. Sorry, I meant to say I did the same thing to her. Well reminded. Thank you.
Oh, that's my bad. I misunderstood that. I thought we were in 2-person per shift, so I thought it was like the two of us were this shift. But yeah, we'll definitely get Vicious up if we can discreetly get her in the game too.
Oh, so you said you saw something?
You definitely do not talk.
Always telling me not to talk.
I'm taking my shot.
I'll throw my shit.
I'm gonna try to Indiana Jones, line it up so I can shoot one arrow through 2 birds' heads.
Okay.
Did you guys ever see the Indiana Jones movie where he like shoots the guys on the tank and he kills like 3 people with 1 bullet?
No, I don't.
Yes, bro.
It's classic. I mean, obviously, it would not work in real life unless it was like a JFK assassination. But
if this encounter ends up being a TPPK, it wasn't my fault. Let me get initiative rolls from you all.
Damn it.
It's not bad though.
Wait, was there a token?
What's up?
Was I supposed to select a token?
Nope.
everybody's got that friend who's a 1-alper. I roll a 15, and Josh has got to roll a 15.1.
Yours is
Yeah.
a 15.3 though. You just don't have it selected to be on there.
No, I know. I was just kidding because it's funny.
I got 4 more points than Vicious because there's a +4 from guidance.
Buzzards to 4 rocks.
Gonna log on to Arlisle next week and see that there's no longer guidance in your monster manual or in your player's handbook.
You're gonna swap it for Wish.
What's that little like flash thing they do and they like clear your memory? He's gonna like delete guidance from your memory. You're just gonna be down one.
I like Men in Black.
Son of a bitch! I rolled a fucking 18 for initiative and it knocked it to a 5. Fucking dice.
Mr. asks, do they live in the plains? Because there's not a lot to sustain them.
Tarrasques are like the earth. More than they're like a creature that lives on the earth. And they're sustained by living more than that they need to eat anything to be sustained. Perhaps the coolest thing about a Tarrasque is even if you ever manage to kill them, it comes back to life. It just reforms. They're effectively immortal.
Like a transformer?
No. They're like, it just replicates and kind of regrows. So, like, if any of it is left, it just grows again.
There are some really weird things in this universe.
Yeah, I've got to wonder what hurt the person who created the Tarrasque as far as that goes. Because effectively, there's some level of, like, Gaia, level of, like, the spirit of Earth. And they are effectively, like, I don't know, they, like, kind of just hide underground until they're awoken. And when they come about to the top of the earth, it like reshapes the entire area. It's something very similar to like a volcano creating new land or like massive earthquakes reshaping the surface of the earth. They're not really a good thing to experience.
If you think that's the worst thing you could experience, you've never tried shaving your balls on an electric shaver, then clearly.
Got that straight razor
I'm
life.
doing this.
Alright, so you see these axe-like faced creatures that seem to be bird-like in their formation, kind of picking at the carcass as Arlisle grabs your attention. What would you like to do?
How big are these?
They probably stand about 5 to 6 feet at their back, as they're like bent over, kind of picking up parts of the deer carcass and eating them.
Do I recognize what kind of creature this is?
You have a background in the plains, otherwise just like a wisdom check.
No background on the plains. I'm just from the military.
Looks vaguely
Oh,
like
never mind.
a
I didn't
bird.
realize it was rolled in. Okay, sweet. And we're at, you said within 60 feet?
Yeah, I figure you guys would have left the carcass about 30 to 40 feet away from you, so nothing can eat it without your knowing.
Okay, sweet. I'm gonna go for some dagger action on him. So the first one would be a 6. I'm not gonna do anything with that. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do a luck on that. Use the luck die because we're trying to get some food. So I'm just gonna roll it again instead of rolling the luck.
An 11 will
So
hit.
11. Okay, sweet. 11 to hit, and then it'll be 16 damage. I will. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone, and then I'm just gonna. Oh, go ahead.
Just how things play off, it would still be the 14 because you re-rolled the d20.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
It would work in your
But yeah,
favor
I'm
on
not
that
gonna-
level, even if it were higher damage. That's how I play those things.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to use a superiority die though on the first shot.
Yeah, that was my mistake. I said that too quick.
You're fine. I'm not planning on using all of them in this like round of combat anyway, so it's not a big deal even if I did use one. But yeah, assuming it's still alive, I will attack the same one again. And if I know it hit again, I'm once again not going to use a superiority die. Or I guess realistically, I might as well. So I'll add a superiority to the second one. There's no reason not to, I guess.
Make a perception check.
Okay.
The creature was bloodied from your first hit.
Okay, sweet. So if that kills it, then I will action surge and attack another one, and I will use my longbow for this.
I don't think you can do that. I think you have to stick with the same weapon.
Okay. I was thinking
Because
I would throw one dagger, throw the other, and then use my free action to pull out my bow. But I'll totally just...
Yeah, but part of the problem is like the free action can pull out the arrow in the process, I don't know about the way, like, you can pull a weapon
Yep,
in part of the attack, but I don't know. It would be vague whether you can use the free action to pull the bow and then the action,
Not
like
worth-
the attack. I'm just saying for future things that I think once you're throwing the daggers, I think you have to stick to the daggers for that attack sequence.
affirmative. I will pull out another dagger, and I will add a superiority die to the hit roll.
Anything but a 1. Yep. So you kill one Axebeak. You are able to bloody the next. Arlyle, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna throw my spirit some bird, bitch.
You got this, Arla.
It's gonna hit, but ain't gonna kill. There's not been a murder on the savannah.
And then Vicious, what
What?
would you like to do?
That sounded like Sean Connery, possibly.
A shocker. Do you hear my impression of Sean Connery? That's because he's dead.
Too soon, too soon.
It's never too soon.
Am I supposed to be doing something?
Yeah, kill the bird so we can eat it.
All right, I wasn't sure if it was my turn. Okay, I am gonna throw a javelin at one of the birds that is not hurt, because basically I'm just trying to make them stay, and I figured that'll give us more birds.
Ooh, attack the one I attacked. Ooh. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
Or, I'm not gonna hit anything anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a thought that counts.
The main things that you tried.
8 will miss.
You were too busy sucking on your sweet ass tea.
Well, I've got 3 more javelins.
You only throw one a turn.
If you get a 1, the bird catches it in its beak and then flies away.
So the first 3 of these creatures to react are going to charge into the 3 of you. Each of them will be making an attack at each of you. So the first attack will be on Doc, second on Arlyle, and the third on Vicious. And it is a 14 on Doc, 17 on Arlyle, 19 on Vicious.
How many
Are they-
points?
Well, let me know if they hit.
It does not hit me.
Alright, so I'm only hitting Vicious, and it will be for 9 slashing damage. And then it will go to...
So 2 of the birds are obviously injured already.
Right now, 1 bird is dead, and 2 of them are bloodied. One of the birds
And
that
there's
charged
3
into
total?
you all is bloodied. Oh no, there's many
Okay.
birds.
Oh, there's a bunch of them. Okay.
I guess with your
will,
perception check, when you... Oh, that was specifically looking at that 1 bird, though.
Yeah, no worries. I will not disengage, but step back out of melee range, blocking an opportunity attack.
14, I think that still misses.
Yeah, it still misses. And then I will dagger the first. I'm going for one of the damaged birds.
Yeah, so the bird that attacked you would be one of the bloodied ones. Otherwise, it's one of the
Okay.
birds that are still back, like feeding, that's the other bloodied one.
Okay, I'll throw at the one that's close to me first. And I am going to go ahead and let's see. I'll use a luck point on that. I'm just gonna roll again.
That will hit and
So
kill.
13. Perfect. And then for my second one, I will do a dagger at one of the other damaged birds, the other one that was damaged. And shoot
Make
for
a
advantage.
perception check for me.
And I am going to use a superiority if I miss. 13 perception.
Yeah, I think you're able to spot enough which one. I think it was Arlyle put a spear into, or a javelin into.
Okay. And I'll use precision shot on that one.
A
So
14 will hit,
total.
and that will kill.
Sweet. And that is the end of my turn.
Arlyle, you currently have a Axebeak attacking you, and one next to you attacking Vicious. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna stab this poultry bitch. Only a 10 to hit.
A 10 will miss.
And that ends my turn, as I'm an awfully useless paladin.
And Vicious?
All right, I feel like it's too close in to use a maul. I'm a little confused by the maul thing because it's my close in weapon, but it's got like a reach.
Yeah, it just means that you can attack at a distance with it of, I believe, 10 feet is the reach? Or is it 5 feet's the reach?
It's 5 feet. So
Yeah, that
can
just
I-
means anything within 5 feet of you, you can attack with it. Long range, close range weapons have a 10, and that just means anything that's within 10 feet, you can attack. But it is meant for melee, so this is when you're supposed to use it.
All right, I'm trying to visualize it. But okay.
Imagine a really, really heavy piece of metal at the end of a piece of wood, and you swinging at it with your arms.
Okay, I thought it was wood on the end of wood, like a judge's gavel.
I mean, you can have a wooden mallet, but a war mallet, like a war maul, is usually made of metal for actually, like, killing things.
Killing things is good. So whichever one's attacking me.
Nice crit.
Roll 2d6 for me. You will hit, and 14 will leave it bloodied.
Nice crit, yeah.
We've got chicken for dinner.
Shotgun the
The,
breast.
the next 3 are all going to do the same, where one attacks each of you as they charge forward. The first one will be Doc, second is Arlisle, and the third is Vicious. 13 on Doc will miss, 21 on Arlisle should hit, and 18 on Vicious should hit.
Yes.
Si, senor.
It is 7 on Arlisle and 9 on Vicious.
These birdies put up a fight.
That's why when I rolled for him, I was like, oh shit, if I just TPK'd you guys over a random hunting trip, it'll be funny. And then the next 3, one of them is going to bug out and run a... Oh wait, one of those is already dead. So let me see. One of them is going to bug out and run away, and then another one is going to charge into you all. Oh, 2 of those are dead. I guess that one is just going to run, so we will continue on. Kinda sucks that I rolled it like that, but okay. And it will go back to 2 remaining axe beaks. 1 attacking Arlisle and 1 attacking Vicious again. 23 to hit Arlisle and 15 to hit Vicious.
Yep, 15.
What was it on me, sorry?
23 to hit you. So 7 damage to Arlisle and 9 damage to Vicious. And then Doc, there are currently 3 birds are currently left on you all. I believe you guys are at the point where it is 1 on each of you.
All right, cool. I will step out of melee range once again.
Wait a second, 1 second. I did that wrong. I think there's 5 birds that still remain. Because 4, 5, 6. Out of 9, you guys have killed 3, and 7 ran away. So 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, there's 5 birds. 1 is on Doc, and then there's 2 on each Vicious and Arlisle.
Okay,
And
perfect.
the one on, I think, Vicious, one of the ones on Vicious looks bloodied.
All right, perfect. I'll step back and proc an op attack.
D100, that was the wrong die. 15 to hit,
15 will hit.
or 3 damage.
Affirmative. And then I will use dagger sharpshooter at the one that is damaged, attacking Vicious currently. Woo, double crit.
Here we go.
That will kill.
And then I will sharpshooter attack one of the ones that is on Arlisle as well. And I will use I think I'm just going to go ahead and luck that one again. That will be my 3rd luck point. And then I will go ahead and add a D8 to the damage on that as well. And that would be my 3rd, whatchamacallit point. So
16 will hit, and 18, it will leave it severely bloodied.
Yeah, 18.
And that was one off of Arlisle, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I basically was trying to like clear them off so there nobody's got like 2 on them or at least injured. And then that'll be it for my turn.
Then it will go to Arlisle. One of the birds, that's still with the dagger, one of the birds in front of you is basically getting a dagger that kind of like stabs right into its spine. And another dagger like just kind of flew past you and killed one of the birds that was attacking Vicious. What would you like to do?
So the one with the dagger in its spine and getting away. So the other one that's on me, I'm going to swing at that with my longsword. This is a hunting trip, not a survival trip, so that one's buggered. So yeah, here we go.
Yeah, 9. I was looking at it, I'm like, 9 fucking axe beaks? Like, I know it's 1 to 4 counters, but it just seemed fucking hilarious to me that you could get that many.
Yeah.
So I'm also going to add on 2 ticks of Divine Smite. So what's that? 18 points of damage in total.
18 will leave it severely bloodied.
And I'll end my turn.
And then to Vicious. What would you like to do?
So I still have one of these giant things attacking me, right? Or 2
You
of them.
have one of them. Yes. One just got killed
killed
by
the other.
Doc, and then one is looking fresh on you. Arlisle has 2 that are looking severely bloodied, and then there's one that is roughly attacking Doc, but not like on him.
Apparently it's still attacking me.
Good fumble.
Vicious, get used to whenever we're like outnumbering enemies, just always going reckless.
Yeah, I figured they were birds.
Well, it just gives you advantage on your attack rolls, so you always get 2 chances to hit at the cost of getting advantage against you. So just as a barbarian, whenever we're like outnumbering them or they're not hitting hard, you should just always go reckless, in my opinion.
I like that you imagine birds aren't a dangerous thing. I can't wait to kill you guys with a rock. It's like a 70-foot wingspan bird that will just pick you up and fly you off to feed you to its young.
Well, yeah, I just mean that these ones are clearly like 30 hit points and they do an average of like 3 to 9 damage. And they only have 1 attack and we're not outnumbered. So that's pretty good.
No, no, no. I'm saying the way she said, oh, I figured they were just birds. Like, these things are called axe beaks. Their beaks look like axes.
Well, they're like big chickens, except they're sharp.
How many hit points are you at?
Probably less than chickens.
Going to be chicken tenders in a minute if we survive this combat.
Because I feel like Vicious is looking pretty bloodied at this point because they are eating you.
Well, yeah, but I'm still gonna scoff because they're basically chickens.
So let's see. 4 through 6. So the one is going to close back in on Doc, and then on Vicious. Oh, wait, no. Oh, these are one on each of you. So on Arlyle and then on Vicious. So it was 13 for Doc. I think that misses. 18 on Arlyle and 16 on Vicious, I believe
Yeah.
Yeah,
18
missed
hits me.
So it hits all.
No, missed on Doc. Sorry.
All right, word, my bad. So Arlyle and then Vicious. 4 on Arlyle and 3 on Vicious. And then 7, 8, 9 are dead or ran. So it will go to top of the order is the last X beak on Arlyle. 17 to hit, and it will do 5 damage. And then it is to Doc.
All right, perfect. I'll do my regular and take a step back, proccing an opportunity attack.
21 to hit, and it will 8
Hits.
damage. So you have... It's a fresh one that was attacking you. There's 2 on Doc that are looking severely bloodied, and then another one that looks fresh on Vicious.
I will go for the bloodied ones on Arlyle. If they're severely bloodied, I am going to intentionally not use sharpshooter this time. I will... Let's see, 6, 11. I'm going to use my last point for a maneuverability to try to hit him. Nice. 14 for 7 damage.
This is...
Oh,
I was going to say, yeah, if you luck that, you have a chance to luck it. But the problem with attacks is that a 1 is always a crit fail and a 20 is always a crit success. So you don't have to... I could have like jumped in sooner, but I didn't realize you meant the maneuverability over the luck at first.
Oh, no problem. I'll just take the miss on that one, and then I will just save the maneuverability and
Gotcha,
try
yeah.
to do the same thing again.
Just make sure that D&D Beyond still has that maneuverability on you.
Yep, I got you.
And then at this point, you guys are aware that their defense is 11. You guys have missed on 10s and hit on 11s.
Yep, so I'm just going to use it on that one. I'm not even going to roll it because I know it's an
Yeah,
auto hit.
so that will hit and kill. So now you guys are all of you have 1 on you at this point.
Perfect, and that will end my turn.
So it will go to Arlyle.
Stab that bloody bird.
Going for the bloody one that's still on you.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, make your attack.
Shit. I end my turn.
So you kind of just swing wide of it, and it will go to Vicious.
I swing, but as I swing, I shout, I can see in the dark, and I'm distracted by myself and just completely miss.
All right, so I'm gonna go reckless on this one. Die, you stupid chicken!
23 will hit for 9 damage. We'll leave it. It's still vaguely healthy. And after Vicious is that group. So they will do Doc, Arlyle, and then Vicious with advantage. So 7 on Doc, 17 on Arlyle, and a 21 on Vicious. I believe Arlyle. Oh wait, that's a miss, Arlyle?
Yep.
Oh, I may still have you loaded when you took your armor off. So 8 damage to Vicious. And then you killed the birds that were on top of the order. It will go to Doc. One is severely bloodied on Arlyle, and the other one is... It's got a maul wound to its head. It can't be terribly healthy, but it's not looking bloody.
Yeah, but I'm looking worse.
I believe I still have one on me as well. I stepped back from it, but
Yeah, that one's
right?
looking fresh. Yep, there's still 3 alive.
Okay.
My bad that
Okay.
I didn't say it like that.
Oh no, you're fine. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't shortchanging. I'm gonna do the same thing again. Step back and proc opportunity attack.
18 to hit. I believe that hits you for
Yep.
7 damage.
Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to attack the bloody one with a non-sharpshooter dagger. And then after this throw, I will have 2 daggers left. Hits for 4.
4 will kill.
Beautiful. And then I'm going to do a sharpshooter dagger on the one that I just stepped. Actually, I'm going to do the one that's on Vicious with sharpshooter. Nice.
That will hit and kill.
Nice one, mate.
Thank you very much.
And
For
then
sure. I figured.
as he whips 2 more daggers, dropping the bird in front of Arlyle, and then quickly you hear the zing as the bird in front of Vicious drops. And there is now a single bird that is not currently in combat, but it is certainly staring down Doc. With these things have like a ignorant hatred in their eyes. They don't seem to be something with like self-preservation so much as they attack things that are in front of them and not one of them. What would you like to do, Arla?
So there's one still left alive, yeah?
Indeed.
Then I'm gonna attack that bitch. Is it within stabbing range?
Yeah, essentially all of you are like in that same little circle around your little camp.
Kablam!
22 will hit, and 13 will leave it bloodied.
Oh, can I add on my last divine smite?
You can most certainly divine spite it. That will kill.
Whew, plus 15.
Yeah, I think you all would have a pretty good sense that the axe beaks are 11 AC, roughly about 20 hit points. I think you saw where a 10 bloodied them damage-wise, and a 9 did not. So I think from there, depending on what you all actually have for strength, I think you can take back eight axe beaks and a deer. This sweet deer kill seems interestingly useful. It brought in a lot of meat, just not the meat that I would have assumed.
Yeah, that's great. I'm both happy and thankful that we'll be giving this food to the villagers.
Yeah, we can feed a good few of them with this, even if it's only for a day. Maybe we could
Nice.
put on a little feast for them in mourning for those that they've lost. You know, raise spirits a bit.
What were you gonna say, Vicious?
This will be nice for them. That'll be like a party, something positive.
And of course, it will be a nice meal for us as well.
Well, yeah, we've got to claim our chicken tax first.
Yes, it will be nice to have a little red meat as well as a little fowl rather than these rations. I'm getting tired of eating lambdas bread.
Should we drag these back then? I'm guessing we don't need to start hunting when we've got all this.
No, that's beautiful. That paid off awesome. We got a combat. We got a bunch of meat. I'm not sure exactly how much these birds weigh, but I would imagine we probably got like 100 pounds of meat or something like that.
They are large beasts, so one thing I don't really have is ideas about their actual like weight of creatures from this.
Oh,
but these
could we?
are
Sorry to interrupt, but no, go on. You go.
Oh, like the picture that I shared in Discord, like these are something that apparently orcs ride as mounts. So I would say roughly that they are horse size, essentially. So I feel like with 8 of them, it is varying on the point where you guys are essentially encumbered trying to make your way back to town. But for what it's worth, I don't think there's any reason to question that you can get everything back. I think it's probably best to assume that you still field dress them, but essentially that you guys are walking back to town fully encumbered with your meat produce for this trip. But what Vicious can carry, I think it's 15 pounds per strength, so 150, another 45. I feel like she can carry almost 200 pounds. Doc can carry 150. Yeah, I feel like you guys can easily carry essentially the field dressed birds from this hunting trip.
Yeah, worst case scenario, I feel like we can like rope them up, sort of like you do when you catch a bunch of fish, like wrap it around their legs or whatever, and then like drag them back into town, and it can like
Exactly what I was
defeather
going
them
to.
on the way. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, see, I think with something like this, though, a lot of their actual weight would be in their actual heads, because, again, they've got that massive beak. And I would say that if anything weighs a lot on them, it's probably that bone that forms their beaks.
yeah, I could chop them off at the where the neck meets the torso and then drag them.
Well, that's what I mean by field dressing them. Actually, essentially taking, like, the meat off of the bone and having it on that level. You guys can basically head back into Greenest and like set up like a feast on the level of everybody in town can come into the keep and get a plate of food for their family. And I feel like that's it.
Oh yeah, if we keep as much
It
of
would
the
be
actual birds as possible, like when they can like basically cook it in a stew and get nutrients from like the bones. They can eat the brains. Can make sausage out of the guts. Yeah.
Big question though, did I get any entrails on my shoes?
oh, you guys are covered in blood.
Shit on it.
Your
Nice.
Nikes are absolutely fucked.
Not my J's, son.
Yeah, they're the Kobe
Well,
edition.
that worked out quite well. Kobe
At least it wasn't one of my
That
Yeezys.
worked out quite well. Yes, we'll be able to feed the entire keep. And to think the first night was quite a disaster, but worked out perfectly in the end.